those are professional
I
ones,
know
Greg.
that, but I'm not used to them.
You're not used. You want to. Don't be changing your headphones in there now. Wait to Donald Kavanagh's doing the news. Look, he has to do the DIY when we're on. Come here. Do you know what? You're a bit of an old crazy horse. Do you know what I'm talking
Why
about?
is that, sir?
Oh, look at him now, squealing. Oh my God, this is so unprofessional. Now, if I did, look, you happy now?
Oh, that feels good. Yeah.
Oh,
I can hear
right.
myself. How are
Okay.
you getting on?
Oh, we're getting on good.
I heard you.
Crazy
were talking
horse.
About, what are you doing in the new year? You going back swimming again?
No, we're going for a dip.
Who said we?
Me and you.
I didn't hear the conversation.
No,
You see?
No, but anyway, we'll jump onto that one, right? So, New Year's Day, I had Anna from the Blue Stacks Foundation. She invited you to their ball and that.
That's right. We're going to.
Are you going to it?
Me and Ash the Hash.
I would have went. What?
Go on.
Say that again. Don't repeat that. That's not so nice, Gregory Hughes.
Why?
Calling your better a hash or an... No, not even going there. Your phone will be buzzing now. What are you trying to say? But anyway, so you're going. When is that ball?
Oh, could be the 12th of December.
I think so, because I can't go because I'm working, right? But they wanted us to do a wee draw thing way back.
Aww.
And I would have loved it because I couldn't go
I know,
last
but
year.
you're tied up every Christmas with all that.
But anyway, but besides that, so then Anna was chatting to Anna about a couple of weeks ago. She says, "Oh, we're going to." I think Blue Stacks Foundation's heavily involved in it as well.
Brilliant. That's the
it's a
designated
charity.
charity,
It is, yeah, which is great. So I says I'll speak to Greg to see, make sure that
New Year's Day. Let's do it, bro.
Well, we do it, right? So we could maybe talk it up and do a bit of thing.
Yeah.
And if anybody wants to dip in as
Why
well,
don't we set up a GoFundMe just in advance of it and try and get a grand together or something?
got a
just to see if
grand.
there's anyone
Aye.
generous enough.
Started off with 500s.
Yeah.
So we.
But it's a lot to ask, but sure, you never know.
Yeah, but sure,
The Blue
like
Stacks.
a euro here, euro there, it'll be good. But sure, it was great last year for anybody that was there, wasn't it?
It's all right.
What do you mean it was all right?
It was fine. I was enjoying it until some wee Egypt started splashing water on my back, and then that
Don't believe that's some we Egypt. They'll think it was me.
It wasn't you.
It wasn't me.
I'll do it. You just
We
played,
do it.
You just played the Cardigans, right?
Yeah.
I will do it if you can name me one other band with an item of clothing in the title.
Oh, Donald, help us out here. Throw up Donald Kavanagh's microphone there.
1 second.
Donald, come on, he has it. He's smiling. Look, he's nodding his head. He's got it.
One band with clothing in the
do
title,
this.
and I'll do it.
He'll give you two. Go on ahead, Donald.
My morning jacket.
That's a band.
Yes, it is, yeah.
Right. Okay.
Right.
I was hoping for plain white tees, but I'll do it anyway.
All right. That's
then.
deal done. Good luck.
All right. Thanks very much. It's 9 o'clock. Time for a news update. Let's go back to Donald Kavanagh.
Thank you, Greg. Good morning. Donegal County Council is set to resume its budget meeting this morning in County House Clifford, with midnight tonight the deadline for a rate to be struck. The initial meeting broke up without agreement almost a fortnight ago, with members refusing to accept the executive's recommendation that commercial rates be increased by 5%. A number of questions were put to officials. It remains to be seen if the answers to those questions, coupled with the outcome of what we understand were a number of informal meetings in recent days, will lead to a breakthrough. The meeting convenes in an hour's time. Donegal's major fishing organisations met the Taoiseach yesterday in a bid to secure strong government backing ahead of next week's EU Fisheries Council meeting. The Seafood Ireland Alliance warned the new scientific advice could result in quota cuts leading to industry losses of up to €200 million, heavily impacting coastal towns like Killybegs. The Taoiseach and Fisheries Ministers have committed to fighting to see the Hague preference invoked, which would see Ireland receive portions of quotas from other countries. However, E. O'Donnell, the CEO of the Irish Fish Producers Organisation, says it will be an uphill battle.
For the first time ever, we have resistance from a number of member states to the invoking of the preferences, because the cushion that we will receive under those preferences will affect the other member states, and that they have to transfer quota to us. As a result of this, it's an uphill struggle, but at least we're aligned in terms of our objectives between ourselves and the department and the Taoiseach himself on a cross-party basis.
A Donegal TD says confirmation of €700,000 to cover operational costs at Donegal Airport will be vital in ensuring services such as the Donegal-Dublin air service continue. The money will go toward funding air traffic control, fire safety and security screening. Deputy Patrick Gallagher says with the public service obligation that supports the Dublin link due for renewal in the coming weeks, top quality safety and security are paramount. He's confident the PSO will be renewed.
We're coming towards the end of this contract now, and hopefully by the 26th of February, a new contract will be in place for the next 3 or 4 years. Do know that Emerald Airlines are applying for the new contract, and I'm not sure if there are any other airlines, but it's vitally important that there's a new contract in place to ensure that there's a seamless transition from this contract to the next one. Vitally important, but I would feel confident.
And there's been a delay to the report into Fianna Fáil's botched presidential campaign. Jim Gavin has requested a copy of the review before it's published. With more, here's Stephanie Rowan.
If the Taoiseach was hoping to draw a line under this whole saga, he'll have to wait a little longer. An internal review has been examining Fianna Fáil's botched presidential campaign and its selection process for candidates. It was due to be published today or tomorrow. However, Jim Gavin's legal team has requested to see a copy of the report first. Micheál Martin informed his Fianna Fáil parliamentary party of the developments last night, with some TDs and senators expressing concern about the delay and if this could now run into the new year. But the Taoiseach moved to reassure them that the report will be ready before Christmas.
Dry and bright today with sunny spells and isolated showers, becoming cloudier through the evening with scattered showers moving eastwards. They'll turn heavy at times tonight with a chance of hail. Top temperatures 5 to 8 degrees Celsius in light to moderate southwesterly winds. That's Highland Radio News. We're back with news again at 10 o'clock. Check all the day's news on highlandradio.com. But for now, from the news team, good morning.
In life, you've around 29,000 days, and those days can be full of what ifs. Like, what if it doesn't work? But what if it does? What if you really went after it? Because life is measured in those moments. So go after every one. Talk to AIB today, and let's see how we can turn your what ifs into what's next. AIB, for the life you're after. Allied Irish Banks plc is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
And now, it's time for the talk of the Northwest, the 9 to noon show with Greg Hughes on Highland Radio.
Hello and a very good morning to you. It's just turning 5 minutes past 9 on this Thursday. It's the 4th of December 2025. Very good morning to you. I hope you're all very well indeed. Great to have you on board for the 9 till noon show and sticking with us here in Highland Radio as you do. We've got lots coming up over the next 3 hours. We're going to be touching on hopefully all of the topics that matter to you, the stories that are interesting you, that are out and about there at the moment. We love your views and your comments. We look forward to platforming them and catching up on any that we didn't quite get to over the last couple of days. And of course, conversations that matter to you with the people of the Northwest and beyond. Right, get in touch with us. We love your interactions, as I mentioned. WhatsApps and your texts to 08660 25000, 08660 25000. You can give us a call too if that's your preferred course of communication, 074 91 25000. As always, Caroline Orr taking your calls, assisted by Shannon on the show. And we also have the email address for your comments at highlandradio.com. And if you want to join us watching on the live stream, as we've a loyal band of a few hundred, up over 1,000 at times across the various platforms, it's great to have you on board consuming the show that way as well. We love your comments there. We pick them up and include them in the programme as well. Lots of papers out on a Thursday morning, as you can imagine. The Finn Valley Voice this morning. Councillors discuss upgrades to pedestrian crossings in Twin Towns. Lifford Stranrawer, I'll read the big writing actually because it's a printed off version just at the moment. Lifford Stranrawer MD councillors raised the issue of plans to change 8 pedestrian crossings across Ballybofey and Stranrawer at their MD meeting on Tuesday. It follows an incident on Wednesday last when a pedestrian sustained non-life-threatening injuries after being struck by a car at the crossing outside the Bank of Ireland Ballybofey. We covered this on the show yesterday, and there's detailed coverage of it as well in that paper today, as well as all the other news and information of importance to the Finn Valley area. The Derry People Donegal News, the chairman of the newly formed Local Community Safety Partnership in Donegal, has accused the Minister for Justice of using a Band-Aid plaster approach to addressing criminality. Councillor Jerry McMonagle was speaking to the Donegal News this week as it was learned more than 100 Gardaí to get tasers in a pilot project. Under the plan, tasers will be issued to 128 frontline uniformed Gardaí. But Councillor McMonagle said that while he fully supports the need for Gardaí to be able to protect themselves, he believes the move does nothing to address the wider problem of a depleting Garda force. On to the Tyrconnell Tribune today, and a ruling by the European Court of Justice has found that Ireland has committed 14 breaches of the EU's Water Framework Directive. The court has now raised issues with the government about how water charges are structured and the state's adherence to the EU principle of cost recovery for services, with Ireland's exemption 2.5 times more than other EU countries. Farming sources said this ruling creates a real fear of more widespread water charges above 10,000 litres per day, and homeowners may also fall within the regulations. The ECJ said that documents submitted by the Republic do not explain how the country's water pricing policy encourages users to make efficient use of water resources. Much more detailed coverage of that story on the front of the paper. John carrying the changes to Highland schedules. John and the team, by the way, and all your news in that paper today. The Derry News this morning. An outline planning application for Derry's Fort George site has been submitted by the Department for Communities. The department has submitted the proposal for application notice in relation to an application for outline planning for the Strand Road site. I have to pick this paper up off the floor that I dropped because I won't be able to concentrate until I do, so give me a moment. There you go. Right now, everything's in order. On to the Irish Independent, and almost 200 adult asylum seekers were placed in Tusla children's accommodation over the last 3 years before it was learned they were over 18. The number of immigrants who applied for international protection as minors but were subsequently deemed ineligible because of their age has more than doubled since 2023. The biggest opposition party has now called for a more robust system to protect children in state accommodation, while a government TD has criticised contradictory accounts over which agencies is responsible for age verification. This is a complicated one, right? Because I don't want to be insensitive or what have you, but there's been a couple of high-profile missing persons cases involving people that have recently arrived into this country, and there was a couple of them where their photos were issued and comments ended up having to be switched off because it was pretty evident that the person was well in excess of 18, although their age was described as 15 or 16 or whatever it might be. So that's one element of it. I suppose if you are moving to another country and you're conscious of, what benefits might be available and you're doing the best for your family, right? And maybe people don't have documentation. If you say someone's 20, who's 20 is 16 or 17, I presume there's additional allowances. I'm not saying that is widespread, but I presume it would happen because I'm sure, if you could do it, you would. But also, though, there is this problem then, which is the greater problem, is that you are placing adults potentially in the same space as vulnerable children. And that's what would be of real concern to me. Only last month it was revealed that the male charged with the murder of Ukrainian Vadim Davidenko, 17, in October at a Tusla facility for separated minors seeking international protection is now believed to have been an adult. Figures released by Sinn Féin TD McCarthy shows that in the last 3 years, 192 separated children seeking international protection have been deemed eligible because they were over 18 or ineligible. So that's a problem. That's a big number. That is a serious issue on a number of levels, not least, actually, and most importantly, I think, the safety of young people. Let me see. The new planning laws are coming into place. Well, they're not new planning laws. They're efforts to speed up the delivery of large infrastructure. And people who object to infrastructure projects could be offered damages rather than allow judicial reviews to delay a project under a new plan. That sounds like paying people off legally. Is that not going to encourage more? That's a peculiar one. It's one of the points that are in it. So rather than take a judicial review, you'd be paid off. But if your intention was sound, you couldn't be paid off, surely, could you? I mean, that sounds like legalised payoffs. But anyway, the government yesterday unveiled its plan for speeding up the delivery of large projects amid concerns that Ireland's infrastructure won't be able to keep up with economic and population growth. The Accelerating Infrastructure report is highly critical of the impact of political reviews, and it claimed that virtually every planning decision relating to critical infrastructure is subject to judicial review. A judicial review is a form of legal challenge where the High Court considers decisions by lower courts, tribunals and other administrative bodies to ensure decisions are reached properly, fairly and legally. The review, which is separate to the planning process and comes after planning is granted or denied, assesses the legal validity, not the merits of the decision. So to say, one of the solutions is to pay people off there. Just a development in the Enoch Burke story, which I know quite a number of you follow, and it's in the Irish Daily Mail. Enoch Burke will not be allowed out of Mountjoy Prison for Christmas, Easter or the next summer holidays unless he agrees to stay away from his former school, a High Court judge has vowed. Mr. Burke is currently in prison for the fourth time for failing to abide by a court order not to trespass at Wilson's Hospital School. He was brought back to court yesterday in handcuffs by prison guards and again refused to purge his contempt. Judge Brian Cregan noted that on previous occasions Mr. Burke had been allowed out of prison for Christmas. However, he said that no such special dispensation would be made this time, although he repeated that Mr. Burke can walk free at any time he chooses if he agrees to obey the court order. Now, I'm at the point now where I would say this to Enoch Burke and his family, and particularly his family and those around him. This is just my 2 cents, that he's made his point. Everybody knows that he is very devout in his religion and in his beliefs. And he is flogging a dead horse now with this school. He will never return to that school to work, no matter what. Nothing will ever get him back in those doors to teach. And he will struggle to teach anywhere through an interview process. He has an opportunity to step back from this now, to make a statement whereby he reinforces his views, whether you agree with them or not. And if he wants to use that platform that he clearly has now, he can do so to perhaps in a more effective way get his point across. Like, there's no point to what he's doing at this point anymore. And it's very easy for maybe people to say, well, fair play Enoch, and sit, drinking a cup of tea and having a slice of toast and the freedom to walk out of the house. But at the end of the day, if you actually really care about the guy, you'd be encouraging him to, he doesn't have to back down from his views at all. You'd be encouraging his family to sort of say, right, the point has now been made to the point where it can't be made any further. But anyway, that's that. The Irish Farmers Journal. The island of Ireland is on high alert for blue tongue after 2 cases of the disease were confirmed on Wednesday. 44 more cases are being investigated. Wow, okay. Hopefully those investigations prove negative. Northern Ireland's Department of Agriculture, Environment and Rural Affairs has ramped up its blue tongue surveillance testing of livestock around a farm in Bangor, County Down, where 2 cows tested positive. The 2 cows were not imported, and DAERA maintains that at this stage it's too early to tell how the virus entered Northern Ireland. But we heard from an expert earlier in the week, which I hadn't considered, that it may well have, because this is transmitted by biting midges or from cow to calf. That's the only way it spreads, as far as I was able to determine, that maybe these midges or these biting insects came in feed, in hay or whatever it might be. But hopefully that means it could be contained because of the weather, right? It's not fantastic weather for those types of animals. We covered this, of course, on the news, but just to mention it out of the newspapers this morning, in case anyone missed it, Gardaí have arrested a second suspect in connection with the crime gang attack, which left a young farmer fighting for his life. The man, who's in his 40s, was arrested on Monday as part of the probe into the assault on Charles Dooher in Lifford in January. The 26-year-old suffered life-changing injuries in the attack on him and his father, which was so serious that Gardaí have reclassified it as attempted murder. And in fairness, it was, I think, the family that were very keen to see that reclassification. Investigators believe they were attacked by a Derry-based crime gang. Mr. Dooher was airlifted to the Royal Victoria Hospital in Belfast, while Dad Charles Sr., who's in his 60s, was less seriously injured. A 5-strong gang of masked men burst into the family home in Connyborough Road and beat both men around the head and body in what started off as an aggravated burglary, they say, and ended up an attempt to kill. So that's the framing. That's the framing from the paper there. And finally, let's go to the Sun. And this is really quite remarkable because I consider this to be really big news, but I could only find it in one paper. Maybe it was in the papers yesterday and I missed it. And it's a tiny, tiny little segment here. And it's in the Sun, of all papers. And it says, a record 10 billion in corporation tax was collected by the Exchequer last month. 10 billion in 1 month. The total was more than the state used to collect an entire year just a decade ago. So 10 billion euro in corporation tax. Now, I know we're told that money should be used a certain way, that that it's rainy day it, spend it on capital projects, blah, 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 right? But 10 billion. I'm just double checking. It's not million, right? It's 10 billion in a month. So that's 1 month of money that the government wasn't expecting to receive. So just to put that into context, if you don't mind, because I looked at it and I found it in the paper and I was like, what? Right, so what would 10 billion do? So last year, and it's not happening this year, remember the cost of living packages? It was for every household to try and help with the sudden increase in prices. So what was included in it, this is just some of it, it was a budget on top of a budget effectively. All of those extensive series of one-off social welfare payments, that was included, right? 2 double child benefit payments. This is for every qualifying family in the country. And then those energy credits worth hundreds of euros added to customers' electricity bills. That was regardless of income. So that was all that for everyone, not targeted. You could do that 5 times for 5 consecutive years or 5 consecutive months for the entire country, based off 1 month's income of corporation tax that the government really didn't know was coming. So that's 5 of those. You could repair, at the highest level of the cap, 28,000 defective blockhouses. So that's what that 1 month of revenue income could build over. In fact, it's about 28,500 defective blockhouses. Again, let me just reiterate, that's with €1 billion collected in tax by the Exchequer in 1 month. The 10T project could be done 10 times over. So that's the bypass of Ballybofey-Stranraer, that bridge, the extension out towards the border. You could do that 10 times with 1 month's Exchequer income. You could employ for 1 year, right? And you can piece this out as much as you like. With one month's Exchequer income, 22,000 nurses for a year. It's the annual salary of 22,000 nurses. I hope I haven't got my figures wrong on this. 22,000 nurses. You could employ 100,000 CAMHS clinical psychologists for a year with this 10 billion in 1 month. The annual salaries of 100,000 CAMHS clinical psychologists. Everyone's talking about the cost of the children's hospital. Even with the overruns, you could build 4 of them. You could build 4 of those children's hospitals, right? And I'll tell you another thing. For every child that's in poverty in this country, for every child that's in poverty, you could give them 45 grand or give their family 45 grand. That's how much tax. And as I say, I'm not a mathematician. I'm not a politician. Those are the figures that I scribbled on the back of a piece of paper there. But for the tax that take for 1 month this year, 1 month, 45 grand for every child in poverty in this country, 5 children's hospitals, 100,000 CAMHS clinical psychologists employed for a year. You could employ for a year 22,000 nurses. 22,000 nurses. You could do that 10T project 10 times over. So you could have 10 bridges across the Swilly, 10 bypasses of Ballybofey-Stranraer, and 10 roads out to the border. You could fix 28,500 defective concrete block homes with 1 month's tax and 5 years of last year's cost of living package. And tell me that we are handling the money correctly. Or maybe I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm open to correction. It's not an opinion. Everything I've done there is stated as fact. That's 1 month's corporation tax take. Really quite bizarre, isn't it?
Newspapers are kindly supplied by Cosgrove Centra, Mountaintop Letterkenny. Now with the new look Mountaintop Diner.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, with monster loans available up to €60,000 for all occasions. Visit letterkennycu.ie.
TFI Local Link operates evening and weekend services throughout rural Ireland to help you stay connected 7 days a week. We know life doesn't just happen 9 to 5, so if you're commuting, shopping, visiting family, or going out in the evenings or on the weekends, let TFI Local Link take you there. Visit transportforireland.ie.
Bring home chef quality food this Christmas with Dunnes Stores Simply Better. Entertain in style with Irish farmhouse and continental cheeses, served alongside Italian and Spanish charcuterie meats. And there's plenty to share with Black Tiger tempura prawns or our handmade dips like our new Hot Honey Ranch. And you can save more with your 10 off 50 voucher. Dunnes Stores, make Christmas simply better. Terms and conditions apply. Voucher could be used in next grocery shop.
Grab the perfect Christmas gift with Homeland's December mega deals. DeWalt 18-volt XR Combi Drill, now half price, only €149.99. Ninja Pro Air Fryer 4.7 litre, now €89, save €30. Segway 500 square metre robot lawnmower, now €869, save €230. More offers in store and online at homeland.ie until December 21st.
Indulge yourself with friends or a loved one at the Spa at Orchids at the Holyrood Hotel in Bundoran. A midweek or weekend spa break is the perfect way to escape from life for a while. Take a leisurely walk along the Atlantic coast. Enjoy a dip in our private pool, a plunge in our Canadian hot tub, and treatments of your choice before dining in one of the Holyrood Hotel's acclaimed restaurants. The Spa at Orchids. Book now at holyroodhotel.com.
GiveBlood.ie know we can count on you, our community of blood donors, to be there for others in their hour of need. Blood donors from Letterkenny should attend the clinic in the Radisson Blue Hotel in Letterkenny from Monday 1st to Thursday 4th of December. Making an appointment is recommended. Regular donors can visit our website or call 1800 731 137 to book a time. New donors are vital. Visit giveblood.ie to check eligibility and clinic details, because we count on you.
Highland Radio Time Checks brought to you by EirGrid, the operator and developer of Ireland's electricity grid. EirGrid, powering up communities, powering up Ireland. The time is
9:24. Welcome back to the show. Welcome on to the programme, Brendan Byrne, CEO of the Irish Fish Processors and Exporters Association. Good morning to you, Brendan.
Good morning, Greg.
Good to have you on the show. We talk regularly to you and other representatives from the fishing industry, and I think a lot of the big issues are well talked about on this show, at least anyway. But you had an opportunity to sit down, didn't you, with the Taoiseach, the person at the top. How would you frame the meeting?
The meeting was very positive, it was constructive, and it was very comprehensive, and it was inclusive of all of the fishing industry and processing sectors, from inshore to the islands, to the cooperatives, to the POs and ourselves as processors. It was an initiative of An Taoiseach to have a round table meeting with all of industry. Such is the scale of impact and challenge that we're facing post the cuts recommended by science and indeed the Brexit. We're facing an economic Armageddon, as I said previously here on Highland. It's going to directly impact the coastal communities. It has the potential to impact up to 17,000 jobs. So it warranted the intervention of the Taoiseach and all of government. We also had Minister Martin Hayden there, along with Timmy Dooley.
In relation to the scientific advice and the impact it might have on quotas for Ireland, what are the headlines there?
The headlines are very stark. The loss to the catching sector is about €94 million. The potential loss to the sector that I represent is 200 million, or up to a third of the overall value of the processing sector in Ireland. And any sector that has that degree of contraction in, say, a 12-month period needs a national framework of support. And that was the purpose of the meeting. And the Taoiseach and the government of the day have now committed to setting up a national framework for financial assistance for the catching and processing sector, including all sectors. And that framework would last for 5 years. Such is the scale and the gravity of the situation that we're now facing.
But does that not just buy time? That doesn't get to the core issues here. This is like paying people to tie their boats up, is it not?
No, it mightn't necessarily be that, but what it is it's the government of the day saying the fishing industry is worth saving, similar to what we did to the beef industry, similar to what we did to the grain industry. This is the first time any government in the history of this state has said, yes, we will support the fishing industry. This is unprecedented, but the industry are resilient. The fishing industry are resilient, and traditionally we have always traded our way out of downturns. But the scale of what has been foisted on us by combination of Brexit and combination of the scientific advice by gross overfishing.
Yeah, but see, that's what I was going to say, and this is what I was saying about buying time. You know, I mean, we the decision was made for us, even though we're part of a union as it relates to Brexit. It's the European Union of which we are a part that facilitates or encourages or permits the Wild West fishing of our waters or waters off our coasts. And that is what's led to a situation whereby the scientific advice is leading to cuts right across the sector, right? So, again, I understand the framework recognises the importance of the industry and supports that for 5 years, but it doesn't get to the nub of it. I'm keen to hear his views on the overfishing, on the fact that we always seem to get the short end of the stick.
We must break this into two separate issues, and you're correct in your analysis, by the way. But the two issues are here. In terms of scientific advice for mackerel stocks or any whitefish stock, mackerel stocks, however bad, they are down as a result of overfishing of those other third countries. It can recover in 2 to 3 to 5 years. So we cannot give up on an industry that employs 17,000 people due to the actions of Norwegians. We have to protect our own industry first.
Nor should we, Brendan. But we're stopping fishing. I don't know what percentage of an impact we're actually having on the stocks. If we don't, this could just mean that the third countries feel that they've got more to plunder. Do you understand? So I understand that these stocks could recover in 3 years and the industry is resilient and will be there in 3 years with the government support. But unless there's action taken to stop the overfishing, the core issue here, how will those stocks recover over those 3 years?
Well, international opinion is the best lever that we have on Norway and Iceland and the Faroes. And that is a consumer-driven market. And I think in the fullness of time, those countries will have to pull back because the consumer, the purchaser of fish, has become very sustainability conscious. And Ireland are the most compliant country in Europe, the top two in compliance for regulation. And we've talked about that time in and time out. So look, we can only control what's within our jurisdiction. And what is critical here is the government of the day have signed up to a 5-year framework to keep this industry intact, to keep the jobs where possible intact. That is what we need to do. Other arguments with Norway and Iceland are going to be fought in a much bigger arena. We've made our views abundantly clear. Other countries in Europe are more, I suppose, conflated because of business interests that overlap into Norway and that. But we won't stop the campaign, nor will the government of the day stop.
But I have you in front of me, so I'm not trying to sort of. But it sounds to me like a bit of a spin. This sounds more to me like the can being kicked down the road than an actual solution. Because whilst what we have control of, there seems some certainty with this framework agreement. The actual root cause of the problem, we're still sort of, it's more aspirational and a wish and a hope that all of a sudden the EU starts cracking down on third countries plundering our waters. And I don't think they're going to do that.
Greg, every morning I get up, the sector that I'm the spokesperson for, my main priority is to safeguard the 4,000 jobs that are in processing. Whether you're in Atlan Fishing, Carndonagh, or any one of the 8 fish factories in Killybegs, my priority is to make sure the people that work in those factories or the people that supply those factories have a factory that's functioning. Yesterday was the framework that I desperately needed to give that security, that surety, and that guarantee that in 5 years' time, when science will change, and science will change, and maybe the policy of overfishing of Norway will change, but we need to be there and in the game in order to safeguard these jobs.
For sure,
and
that is critical, and I recognise that, and I'm not in any way trying to dilute the win here because these are people's lives. This is people's industry. I probably shouldn't be looking at the bigger picture one day off, right? It's just. I know, say, for instance, with the cost of living packages the government introduced, all of a sudden they very much don't want them to become part of, the budget, so to speak. And I just hope we're not on a cliff edge in 5 years.
Nor am I criticising you, but I'm coming from a backdrop, and I'm only 5 years in the fishing industry. But in my lifetime, I've seen different sectors of the economy supported by financial frameworks. Yep. This is the first time that we've secured one for the fishing industry. Because for too long, the fishing industry, as you and I have debated year in and year out, have been left in the shadows and have been left without the support that any national government in any other country would have done years ago. But this is where we are now. And this is only the first step. because we need to look at the whole regulatory situation and all the regulatory.
And I want to get to that, but one last thing, it's the last negative thing I say. I just hope the bureaucrats in the EU aren't looking on and saying, actually, that's not quite as an important issue anymore because the state's looking after it, and our eyes will be diverted to the Mercosur deal or something along those lines. But listen, it's still a big win, right? I get that. Just one thing before we talk about regulation. Very interested in the Taoiseach's views in relation to that. The predicted losses that might be incurred, to what extent would this framework offset them?
Well, that is going to be part of the working group's remit, which I believe the working group will be set up next Wednesday. The Taoiseach was adamant that it's set up immediately and recommendations come to government as soon as possible. Look, at the scale of loss is going to be 200 million. The objective here is to safeguard every job that there is currently within the sector. That is the main priority of this. It is the main priority that all the companies are safeguarded in order to get through this downturn. That is the objective.
How does that look like, right? Because if the conveyor belts aren't running, is it about diversifying? Is it about, is it supporting wages if the factory floor is inactive? Do we know, or is that part of the framework discussions?
It's all part of the framework that we safeguard the jobs. It could be wage subsidies. It could be supports directly to the factories, to the boats, to the inshore sector. That is where we are. We are here to protect the entire industry, from the smallest unit to the largest unit and everything in between. That is the objective. And in regard to what it takes, it is up to this working group now to make recommendations year on, year out for a 5-year program. And that is critical.
Okay.
We do that.
Right, so that hopefully is dealing with the external problems with the industry. The internal ones are our interpretation, our enforcement of regulations. The same regulations, they're European-wide, but they're enforced very differently in different countries. It seems to be very... and that was highlighted really with a decade-long case that eventually fell. But it was a decade that a company had to endure. You can imagine the legal letters, the consultations, the cloud that would have been around it. But that's just one example of many. So, Brendan, did you get an opportunity to raise these concerns with An Taoiseach, and what was his feedback in that regard?
I did personally. Now, I didn't specifically reference the Ward case.
Understood.
But
yeah.
I spoke about I gave the example. To land one fish into an Irish fish factory, you need 13 sets of documents and declarations to take a fish from a boat, which could be 200 metres away from the factory, into the factory. 13 sets of documents and electronic. If I were to do that in Denmark, 2 documents, that's all you need. And then we wonder as a country why foreign landings are down 66%. We wonder why no one wants to bring fish to Ireland to process. You don't have to wonder. We're strangled with regulation. And it's the same regulation that applies, as you correctly said, all across Europe. That has to be part of this process. Already we have Kieran Mulvey, who has already started this process. But all of this has to be brought out into the plain daylight. And there it has to be explained why it has to be this way in Ireland, but not that way in Denmark, not that way in the Netherlands or France. If it's
But as you say that to him, and this is your interpretation, does he recoil in the seat and go, well, wonder what's going on, I must get on top of that? Is he aware of it happening?
I think a combination of everything that has brought us to a point now that there's a realisation right across all the parties, and we've acknowledged the Oireachtas Fishery Committee and the opposition and the roles that they play. But there is a realisation now, for too long, politicians have stood too far back from fishing. And there now is an awareness that politically hard decisions will have to be taken in the months ahead, whether that is in regard to the department or any competent authority or any regulatory authority. I think if we're here to safeguard the industry, then everything has to be on the table, and it has to be decided upon in a very short time frame.
In relation to that, obviously this has been, there's an expedience here. When do you expect to sort of see some numbers in that in relation to this?
I expect the first Mulvey report to be out, if not before Christmas, immediately after Christmas. That will be part of a debate. The working group will be part of a debate. But more importantly, every elected politician now knows what exactly was happening in fishing. We quote the Ward case. What other sector of the economy would tolerate a 10-year harassment by the state?
I want to ask one more question about how we stop the Nordic countries and the Faroe Islands overfishing the waters. Is it enforcement? Is this part of a off the table deal that the EU will turn the other way? Right, because that's one thing for your lay person listening on this, right? You know, you wouldn't allow third countries to come in and rob all the grapes off the vines in the Champagne area of France, right? That would be a crime. That would be illegal. That would be an invasion, right? So what is going on that facilitates boats that aren't entitled to fish our waters to fish our waters? Is it a blind eye being turned? Is it a cozy deal? Is it indifference? What's going on? Why is it allowed?
I think the first thing is that in 2014, a very bad deal was made between the EU and Norway. Ireland was part of that. They mustn't have realised what they signed up to because it is a disastrous deal. The second thing, and you're 100% correct in your assessment, the EU are too complicit and too weak in Norway. If it was any other country that was at what they're at for the last 10 to 15 years, particularly in the last 5, where they've overfished mackerel by 1 million, it would be called out and there would be market restrictions.
But why then do we allow them to do it?
Well, the first thing is we're not the only member of the EU. Germany are dependent on gas from Norway.
Now we're getting into it. Now we're getting into the nitty-gritty.
And all that.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of bartering that needs to be done, but we can't give up on calling them out. Ireland has taken a very militant stance
because that's
here.
a deal that's being done outside the EU framework, right? Now, I know you're supposing what's being done, but that's a deal.
As far as I can make out, EU make a deal a minute a day, all through the day.
Okay.
And it's where we need to be and where we haven't been traditionally. We need to be in the heart of that. And from a fishing perspective, we need to be very robust and aggressive in defending our interests. It's something that we traditionally didn't do, and that's why we're paying a very high price on it. But you will see a change in culture in how Ireland approaches EU talks, how they approach EU deals, and that has been the objective of mine since I started in this job 5 years ago.
Yeah. Okay. I can't see us. I can't see us giving up our little role as being the good little boys of Europe and growing teeth on one particular issue.
You and I had one thing in common. We were never good boys.
No. And see where that got us. All right, Slán, take care. Thank you very much indeed. Imagine why. That's Brendan Byrne there.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union, now offering mortgages from 40,000 to 600,000 euro with no hidden fees or transaction charges. Letterkenny Credit Union, 9102127.
Who's making something wonderful at Lidl this year?
Hi, I'm David Brett from Oak Park. We pride ourselves on supplying award-winning hams to Lidl each Christmas. We select Bord Bia quality assured Irish pork. We naturally smoke them using beechwood chips.
Oak Park's Bord Bia approved ham joints from $9.99. Lidl, more to value.
Paddy McGurn Machinery Sales Ballyshannon. Stockists of Coon Farm machinery including balers, mowers, tellers and more. We also stock SIP rakes and tellers, Connor slurry equipment, Fleming equipment, Marigon mowers and Agrimaster mulchers, serving Donegal, Sligo and Leitrim. Call 086 329 8417 for expert advice and great deals. Paddy McGurl, quality machinery, ready when you are.
Make Christmas shopping easy at Irwin Expert Electrical. Explore LG TVs from compact design to big screen and find all your top tech and home gifts in one place. Samsung, Apple, Shark, Dyson, Ninja and more. Trusted brands, great value and expert service. Christmas made easy at Irwin's Expert in Letterkenny and Buncrana.
This Christmas, Letterkenny has more shopping choice than ever. From stocking fillers to the perfect gift, there's something for everyone on your list. Shop smart, shop local this Christmas in Letterkenny. Brought to you by Shop LK.
This Friday, the 9 till noon show will be live from Glendowen Craft Shop in Clonmany as part of the Buy Donegal campaign, an initiative from Donegal County Council, which celebrates and showcases Donegal's incredible local businesses whilst encouraging everyone to support them this festive season. That's this Friday, the 9 till noon show, live from the Glendowen Craft Shop in Clonmany.
Hi, Marty Morrissey here. I'm delighted to tell you that the Marty Party is returning to Calpe in Spain next year from October 1st to October 8th. Johnny Logan will be joined by fellow Eurovision winners Niamh Kavanagh, Paul Harrington and Linda Martin. Also with us will be Sean Kane, the Whistling Donkeys, Honor and the wonderful Tommy Fleming. Book now on email by contacting Deirdre at ConestaTravel.com or phone her at 085 753 9038. The Marty Party, your ideal Christmas present.
Christmas just got even bigger at Highland Radio. Not only could you win a brand new Renault Symbioz Techno worth over €35,000, but from December 8th to 19th, we're giving away £1,000 a day. If you've already bought your ticket, you're automatically in. If you haven't, now's the time to get your ticket at highlandradio.com.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, offering low-rate car loans with fast approval. Apply online at letterkennycu.ie or in office today.
Buy Donegal, an initiative of Donegal County Council, invites you to shop local this Christmas. Discover an incredible range of Donegal brands, products and services right here in the heart of our county. Whether you're hunting for the perfect gift for loved ones or a local business ready to reach a wider audience, #BuyDonegal is the answer. To find exclusive offers and unique gifts, or to find out how your business can benefit from this advertising opportunity, visit buydonegal.com.
At Joe McGee Butchers, we have all your needs to make your Christmas dinner extra special this year. If it's a fresh whole turkey or turkey breast fillet in a vac-pack cooking bag with a cooking pop-up timer, a delicious ham joint or succulent dry-aged sirloin steak, call in today to the award-winning Joe McGee's Butchers, Letterkenny Shopping Centre, where we have your Christmas all wrapped up.
How are things? How's the family? How are you? How can I help?
When it comes to supporting people living with dementia, it starts with asking how. Because how is a small word, but this social connection makes a big difference. So if you know someone affected by dementia, check in with them and learn more about how you can help build dementia-inclusive communities at understandtogether.ie from the HSC.
Is fúine atá sé leictreachas a úsáid bhealach níos cliste agus níos glise. Ag Electric Ireland, táimeann seach an tróir a thuirteart. Le faisnéis fleanan na méidir cliste, tálaí EV agus panéal ghréine in our net zero hub nua. Déan d'úsáid níos soléire, turais níos glise, baile níos teolaí agus saol níos giile. Tuilleadh eolais ag electricireland.ie.
At Londis, we wish our customers in Donegal a very happy Christmas. We know what locals want because we are local like you, even as local as Lough Swilly on a beautiful crisp winter's day. Happy Christmas from Londis.
Highland Radio weather updates with McElhenney's. Find Christmas inspiration for everyone, from top beauty gifts to perfect last-minute ideas. Visit us in Ballybuffet to explore the full range or shop online anytime at mcelhenneys.com.
So, dry and bright today with sunny spells, isolated showers after cloud, and any lingering rain clears the region. Becoming cloudy though through the evening with scattered showers moving across, turning heavy at times. There is a chance of hail and temperatures of 5 to 8 degrees. Letterkenny Chamber and their members are expressing their concerns regarding the proposed increase in commercial rates. The council is stuck in a bit of a debate as to whether to increase them or not by 5%. Tony Forrester is CEO of Letterkenny Chamber and joins us now. Good morning to you, Tony. Thanks for your time.
Good morning, Greg.
I presume the problems are quite obvious. You know, we've got the minimum wage increases, greater entitlements for staff in terms of sick leave and maternity and paternity leave, and now businesses contributing to pensions in January. The price of electricity is only going in one direction, other overheads, etc. And now businesses potentially are looking at a 5% increase in commercial rates from their own local authority. There's a lot going on there for businesses.
There really is, and we're on the record for quite a long time talking about the regulatory burden for businesses, and particularly small businesses. So large companies can sometimes, absorb stuff, but small businesses, and that's the majority of the businesses in Donegal, will struggle with inflation. We all know what inflation is doing at the moment, and we all know we're paying more for everything. And I think just bringing in auto enrollment, the minimum wage increase, as you say, it's all happening at the same time. And then the council obviously are going up to the sort of 5% or mooting that as what they want to increase. They didn't increase the rates for a few years. And 5% seems quite a lot across the country. We understand for the councils that have done it, we have around a 3.5% average happening, although some obviously are very much higher than that. So I suppose we're just saying maybe the timing's not good. And the other thing might be, let's talk about this, and maybe let's have a conversation and a dialogue about what exactly the rates go to. Why is the burden so high? Why are businesses kind of the people who are funding, or the organisations that are helping to fund local government? Maybe there's a bigger conversation, as well as please don't put the rates up this year.
Yeah, but that is it. I mean, they're not ring-fenced rates no more than the local property tax is. It's funding that goes into the general pot to run a county, and it's not enough to run a county either. We still have to get, obviously, central government top up. But you're saying that, I suppose, too, if you look at water rates as well, businesses are the only ones that pay those. Are you saying that, the cost burdens to keep the lights on effectively, the businesses are having to do too much of the heavy lifting?
We really do believe that, and we've said this, even through Chambers Ireland, we say this, that the government needs to start looking at how local government is funded, and funded correctly. We have a population, we all know the pressures on this size of a county and also the size of a town, and how exactly is that funded? Why, our councils need staff, they need people to do the work that we require of them, and I'm just not quite sure that the formula works at the moment.
I suppose the companies get to benefit from the infrastructure, the increased power that's required, the increased water and sewage that's required, the roads, the pavements to facilitate the footfall. I was going to say the public toilets, but I won't say that because I'm talking to someone from the Letterkenny Chamber, right? But I suppose that's the argument that could be made. But, then what do the businesses give back that perhaps already justifies that support?
Yeah, so the businesses are providing the job, obviously providing the wealth. They're creating the income. And everybody wants to play their part. There's absolutely no doubt about that. Businesses aren't trying to shirk away from this. I suppose we're just saying that the timing's bad at the moment, and everything just seems to be on the up at the moment. So could the councillors look at it and maybe talk to us, hopefully get an 0% through this year, and then talk to us and see where we could fit.
But the problem is if we don't raise them for a number of years and then raise them sort of in a 5-year cycle, would it be more manageable, more palatable for businesses if they could factor in a 1% increase per year, for an example?
I suppose it's about certainty. You might be right. If you knew for the next 5 years that there was going to be a whatever increase, and justified increases. Now, I don't mean just increase for the sake of it. Yes, possibly businesses can look at their cash flows and say, right, Wayne, I know I have to factor that in, but we always get to this time in December and go, what's it going to be? What are we talking about here? And then they have to work it out. There was also the revaluation done, I suppose, been done around the country, and for some there was winners and losers in that. And I suppose it's all about this feeling that you're always paying for things. And the other bit that we've said in our statement was out to our members was we would love the council to explain in very plain English what exactly where the money goes. Which bit goes to.
Well, you see, it doesn't. It's not. It's.
Well, yeah.
I mean, if you want that.
I know I'm living in my wee.
No, I know that, but the bottom line is you get the spending budget from the council, and it's the water, and it's the lights, and it's the roads, and I know what you're saying, but what specific is for business? Well, everything is for businesses. Well, everything is for me. I do know where you're coming from, but
I'll give you an example. So I'm obviously based in the north, so I pay rates, and I get a little leaflet out every
Mm.
year that tells me that certain amount goes to, percentage-wise, goes to economic development, for example, and a percentage goes to capital projects. You know, so you look at all the regeneration work that's being done in County Donegal, you know, and that.
Well, I mean, you can break that down. I mean, I could break that down.
Yeah, but it'd just be interesting to see it.
You know, like
simply.
I mean, yeah,
Simply.
yeah, I know, yeah, but there's like major projects, our contribution versus the state's contribution, and what's being spent where. I do understand where you're on about, but you could say, well, the road sweepers, for example, that is a percentage of it, right? So
absolutely,
you know, it is identifiable. But I do understand your wider point, because people want that for the LPT. You know, what am I getting for that? Why am I still paying to get my bins collected? It's not really how it works. It should work that way, but it ain't.
Yes.
The thing
and
about
we have to fund our council.
Yeah.
Like it has to be funded.
The thing about it is though, like what's also included in the budget, but not oft reported as front page stories, is businesses going into arrears on their rates, right? So they could owe suppliers, they could owe electricity companies, they could owe the council. It's an awful lot. It is inevitable that we get to a point that this 5% takes some businesses out. That they look down and they look at the figures and they go, I might love doing this, but I don't want to be a busy fool, and I have to think about my family and myself and all that kind of stuff. Is, in your view, a 5% rise significant enough that inevitably it will close business? Some business.
We are hearing a little bit of that. Now, I can only speak for the very small local businesses that we would talk to, say, you know, that are relying on footfall, for example. Yes, they are saying another increase could push them over the decide, I'm going to decide not to do this anymore. And now that it's a whole mixture of things, you know, because your rent can go up.
It's the tipping point. It's the tipping point.
Yes, we can very easily. Now we've seen you'll see a business on the main street closing after 52 years. Now that isn't just to do with rates or not, or just to do with costs.
It's an aggregate effect.
But it's very, you know, it's not what we want to see.
The problem we have is though, like, the councillors can huff and puff, and I suppose no one wants to be seen as the person that decides on a measure that could put businesses out of business, right? But if they don't agree a budget by midnight tonight, then a budget is approved for them, and that is a very, very sticky wicket. And the councillors are on a sticky wicket, and we're going to have to find out who votes which way. Because that's going to be very interesting, and we're going to have to give that information tomorrow if a vote is agreed today, because it's very much in the public interest.
We have to get a budget, and we have to work with that, because we can't. If we get something imposed on us, it's going to be worse, probably. You imagine?
Yeah, but then again, you know, then it goes back. If something is cut so that this doesn't have to happen, you know, the business community will they look at themselves and go, well, I don't know, it's complicated.
Greg, I would say something. I was thinking about this morning. You know, I remember because I keep saying to people, I've been here a long time. So when we had the financial crash, I would have been sitting here with someone, not on Zoom, say, but talking about how businesses were closing because of the financial crash. You know, we aren't there. But we have to invest in our communities. We have to invest in our town centres, and we need council to do that alongside government. So maybe we need our councillors to be lobbying government as well to say, let's work on this together. Let's make Donegal what we all love about it, and let's make Letterkenny a real haven spot.
The thing is if we're not doing that now, we are banjaxed when this economy cools down, and it does, because economies go in cycles. So if we aren't building infrastructure, resilience, sustainability now, we're going to be facing into another calamity. And that's why we need to think in 5, 10, 15 years' times, not annually. Okay, listen, very interesting conversation as always. Thank you very much indeed. Tony Forrester there, CEO of Letterkenny Chamber. What do you think? I'm very interested in businesses' perspectives on that as well, of course, because, you know, you are the guys that are going to end up having to foot that bill potentially. And as I say, we'll keep a strong eye on who votes where, who votes which way, because we've heard from Tony there, businesses will go under if this 5% increase in rates is passed at council today. But then again, the alternative is what happens if a budget is imposed. It's not simply black and white, like nothing is really.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union. Simplify your debts with a debt consolidation loan from Letterkenny Credit Union. Call us on 074 910 2126 or apply online via our app or in office today.
Are you feeling stressed, in pain, or in need of a reset? Imagine a place where gentle healing vibrations, light and sound gently wash over you, nurturing both your body and mind, melting away tension and easing pain. This is possible at Beyond Light Therapy, designed to support deep relaxation, renewal, and your body's natural ability to heal. People report a sense of calm, improved mood, mental clarity, and renewed energy. At Beyond Light Therapy, where health begins, experience the first 60-unit energy enhancement system on the planet. Call us today to begin your journey.
Don't know if you know Alice and Pat, late 40s, couple of kids, been together 17 years. Never married, of course, but that's not a problem. Until something happens, and suddenly words like unmarried, inheritance, and substantial tax bill enter the equation. You never need proper estate planning. Until you do. That's why the experienced team at McElhenney & Associates are here to help. Find us online or call 074 917 5989. McElhenney & Associates Solicitors, Stranraer.
The fastest and easiest way to apply or renew a passport for you or your child is online. But if you find applying online challenging, the Passport Assist Service is here to help. For one-to-one support, call the Passport Assist Service on 01 613 1795.
At Super Value, get Toy Show weekend ready. Get 2 Goodfellas pizzas plus 1 McCain chips and 1 Häagen-Dazs ice cream, all for €10. Save €8. Save 33% on Irish sirloin steak until Sunday. With real rewards, get Jacob's Elite Mikado, Kimberley and tea cake tins, now €10. Check your app for vouchers and make it a Christmas with a difference at Super Value.
Flying to Dublin on business? Enjoy same-day return and budget parking with convenient and affordable travel with Aer Lingus. Book your flight now and make your business trips easier. Fly Aer Lingus.
McGowan Hearing, one of the longest established audiologists in the Northwest, now have weekly clinics in Letterkenny, Buncrana and Carndonagh. Book your free hearing aid consultation at one of these clinics or with audiologist Dara McGowan in your own home. Call 07191 00208 or visit mcgowanhearing.com.
Live, on air, online and on the Highland Radio app. This is Highland Radio News.
Good morning, it's 10 o'clock. Donald Kavanagh at the news desk. Donegal County Council is resuming its budget meeting around now at County House in Lifford. Midnight tonight is the deadline for a rate to be struck. The initial meeting broke up without agreement almost a fortnight ago. Members refused to accept the Executive's recommendation that commercial rates be increased by 5%. A number of questions were put to officials at that initial meeting. It remains to be seen if the answers to those questions, coupled with what we understand were a number of informal meetings in recent days, will lead to a breakthrough. Ireland's major fishing organisations met with the Taoiseach last evening in a bid to secure strong government backing ahead of next week's EU Fisheries Council meeting. The Seafood Ireland Alliance warned that new scientific advice could result in quota cuts, leading to industry losses of up to €200 million, which would heavily impact coastal towns like Killybegs. The Taoiseach and fisheries ministers who were present have committed to fighting to see the Hague preferences invoked, which would see Ireland receive portions of quota from other countries. However, E. O'Donnell, the CEO of the Irish Fish Processors Organisation, says this time it's going to be an uphill battle.
For the first time ever, we have resistance from a number of member states to the invoking of the preferences, because the cushion that we will receive under those preferences will affect the other member states in that they have to transfer quota to us. As a result of this, it's an uphill struggle, but at least we're aligned in terms of our objectives between ourselves and the department and the Taoiseach himself on a cross-party basis.
A Donegal TD says confirmation this morning of €700,000 to cover operational costs at Donegal Airport will be vital in ensuring that the Donegal-Dublin air service continues. The money will go toward funding key facilities such as air traffic control, fire safety and security screening. Deputy Patrick Gallagher says with the public service obligation that supports the Dublin link up for renewal in the coming weeks, top quality safety and security are paramount. He's confident that the PSO will be renewed.
We're coming towards the end of this contract now, and hopefully by the 26th of February a new contract will be in place for the next 3 or 4 years. We do know that Emerald Airlines are applying for the new contract, and I'm not sure if there are any other airlines But it's vitally important that there's a new contract in place to ensure that there's a seamless transition from this contract to the next one. Vitally important, but I would feel confident.
There's been a delay in the publication of the report into Fianna Fáil's presidential campaign. Jim Gavin has requested a copy of the review before it's published. With more, here's Stephanie Rowan.
If the Taoiseach was hoping to draw a line under this whole saga, he'll have to wait a little longer. An internal review has been examining Fianna Fáil's botched presidential campaign and its selection process for candidates. It was due to be published today or tomorrow. However, Jim Gavin's legal team has requested to see a copy of the report first. Micheál Martin informed his Fianna Fáil parliamentary party of the developments last night, with some TDs and senators expressing concern about the delay and if this could now run into the new year. But the Taoiseach moved to reassure them that the report will be ready before Christmas.
Uisce Éireann say repairs to a burst water main in southwest Donegal may cause supply disruptions to Mass, Kilkenny, Barry-Eriston, Lough Fad and the surrounding areas today. Works scheduled to take place there until 3 o'clock this afternoon. Meanwhile, in Inishowen, mains repair works underway to a leak that's causing disruptions in Coolcross, Clunsha and surrounding areas. There, repair works should be concluded by 2:15. Storm Éowyn was the most searched item on Google in Ireland this year. The company's year-in search data for 2025 shows the Ryder Cup and Catherine Connolly completed the top 3 searches. Alex Rowley has been looking at some of the other trends.
Well, when it came to people, the presidential election seemed to lead the charge with Catherine Connolly, Maria Steen and Jim Gavin among the top searched people in Ireland. DJ Kerry and Garen Noon also featured on that list. In terms of deaths then, Charlie Kirk, Ozzy Osbourne and Diogo Jota were top of the list, while the Ryder Cup and the Champions League were the most Googled sports events. When it came to recipes, classics like coffee and porn star martinis featured high on the list, but TikTok has influenced it slightly as we saw Dubai chocolate enter the frame. For people searching how-to questions, they wanted to know how to bottle feed a breastfed baby, how to spoil your vote and how to pronounce Éowyn, while people also wanted to know what Listeria was and what is 6-7.
Dry and bright today with sunny spells and isolated showers, becoming cloudier through the evening with scattered showers moving eastwards. That'll turn heavy at times with a chance of hail. Highest temperatures of 5 to 8 degrees Celsius in light to moderate southwesterly winds. That's Highland Radio News. We're back with headlines again at 7. In the interim, check all the day's news on highlandradio.com. But for now, from the news team, good morning. The obituary notices for this Thursday morning, the 4th of December. The death has taken place of Patrick Pat Devaney, London, formerly of Rye Manor, Cunningham, reposing at Eternal Light Chapel of Rest, Mountain Top, Letterkenny, from 4 o'clock until 6 o'clock this evening. Removal to St Eunan's Cathedral, Letterkenny, for reception prayers at 6:30. Reposing overnight for 11 o'clock funeral mass tomorrow, which can be viewed on churchservices.tv. Burial afterwards in St Columba's Church Cemetery, Dromahal. Family flowers only, please. Donations if desired to the Kevin Bell Repatriation Trust, care of Pascal Blake, Funeral Director. The death has taken place of Patrick Pat Dehan, 179, Rark on Illon, Carrigart. Patrick's remains are reposing at his home with family time, please, from 10 o'clock tonight and before the funeral, which takes place tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock in St John the Baptist Church, Carrigart. Family flowers only, please. Donations in lieu if desired to the Donegal Hospice, care of any family member. The death has taken place of Conall McDevitt, Loch Derry Duff, Portnew, reposing at his home today from 1 o'clock until Rosary at 9. Funeral from there tomorrow morning at 10:30, going to St Conall's Church, Kilclooney, for 11 o'clock Requiem Mass, with burial in the adjoining cemetery. There will be a shuttle bus in operation from the Dolman Centre, Kilclooney, from 5 o'clock this evening. The death has taken place of James O'Donnell, Jim Connell, Ranafast, Annagry, originally of Knockastollar, Bunbeg, reposing at his home in Ranafast today from 12 noon until Rosary at 8. House private, please, after the Rosary and before the funeral, which will take place tomorrow. Funeral Mass in St Mary Star of the Sea Church, Annagry, at 11 o'clock, followed by burial in the new cemetery, Annagry. The funeral mass can be viewed live on Kieran Rorty, Funeral Director's Facebook page and on the Annagry Parish webcam. Family flowers only, please. Donations in lieu if desired to the Donegal Hospice. The death has occurred of Paul Colgan, Coventry, England and Kinnaderry. reposing at his uncle and aunt-in-law's home, Gerard and Anne McCool, Kinnaderry, Welshtown, today from 4 p.m. until 9 p.m. A shuttle bus will be in operation from the picnic area at Welshtown. Funeral from there tomorrow at 11:30 for Requiem Mass in the Church of Our Lady of Perpetual Succour, Glenfin, at 12 noon. Cremation will take place later at Lakelands Crematorium in Cavan. The Requiem Mass can be viewed on the parish webcam. The death has taken place of Michael McBride, Tullyconnell, Fanet. Remains reposing at his late residence. Removal from there this evening at 5 o'clock, going to St Mary's, Fanavolti, Fanet, to repose overnight. Requiem Mass tomorrow at 11 with burial afterwards in the adjoining cemetery. And the death has occurred of Alan James Moore, Hollyview, Lurgy Brack, leaving his father Ernie Moore's residence at Swilly View, Lurgy Brack at 1:15 this afternoon, going to Conwell Parish Church, Letterkenny, for funeral service at 2 o'clock, followed by burial in Gortley Graveyard. Family time, please, before the funeral. Family flowers only, please. Donations in lieu if desired to the Emergency Department, Letterkenny University Hospital, care of any family member or Terence McClintock, Funeral Director. For family information and more details regarding wakes and funerals, please go to highlandradio.com.
Smart employers choose One for All. Reward your staff tax-free now up to €1,500 with gift cards that can be spent directly in-store and online with thousands of retailers on thousands of brands. Give cards physically or digitally. It's gifting made simple. Order One for All gift cards now at any post office or online at onpost.com/business gifting. Terms and conditions apply. The One for All gift card is issued by GVS Prepaid Europe Limited and regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Welcome back to the 9 till noon show. We're into the second hour here now. A caller says, why not spend that 10 billion we got in tax last month and purchase a gunboat and sink the Norwegian trawlers that are plundering our waters? Yeah, I think that kind of is what you might call war. But yeah, I'll take your point. Greg, more waffle in 5 years, massive payments for a group set up to pretend to look after the Irish fishing, while the Russians, Norwegians and Iceland give two fingers to the EU and carry on depleting the stocks, a total sham. Micheál Martin says a listener has presided over the district destruction of the fishing industry. Now he's pretending to be concerned, as if he's only arrived at the scene of the crash. He was at the wheel and should be held accountable. His love affair and loyalty to the EU has created this catastrophic situation. Another caller says no country is going to listen to any advice on saving the fishing industry, whilst another says Nordic countries will continue to do what they're doing and Ireland will do what we're always told to do because we are good Europeans. The science is working on a 50% chance that the advice will work. Why don't we catch our 40,000 tonnes in the few weeks it will take in 2026 and monitor the stocks and put our own scientific research into the stocks? Okay, thank you very much for that. On a varied range of topics now. On business rates, perhaps we should give the council a 20 or 30% increase as they're doing such a wonderful job in tackling the traffic problem in Letterkenny, says a listener. Tongue in cheek, I would imagine. Greg, at long last, the Ballybofey Stranorlar councillors are listening to the people read the pedestrian crossings at the Bank of Ireland, Ballybofey. Why did they ever vote and agree on it in the first place? What bright spark in the council signed off on this crossing? Surely they should be named. I remember reading at the time that these crossings were an experiment, so did they wait until a pedestrian was knocked down and injured to realise the experiment has failed big time? Well, the TII were behind this because this is a main route. What the council's role in it specifically, I don't know, but this is Transport and Infrastructure Ireland, which would be primarily responsible. But listen, from day one, I don't think they were actually even officially launched, and it was very, very clear on this programme that they were a disaster. And now here we are. It must be, I don't know how long it is, two years later, and finally the pennies dropped. Is there a DNA test or a blood test that would confirm the age of a person? Not quite sure. I don't think there's anything specific in that regard, to be honest with you. Greg, what is wrong with you saying that about Mr. Burke? This man is standing up for his God-given right. Why should he change his beliefs because the state says he must? It's the state should be in jail, my God, man. There is only a man and woman there. Is nothing else in the world. You didn't really perhaps get exactly what I was saying. I never said anything about him giving up his rights. He's never going back into that school, and you're his supporter, and I'm saying... And it was just a suppose. It's not something I concern myself too much. That guy's in prison, right, with murderers and rapists and child abusers. He's in prison. He'll be in prison over Christmas. And for what? At this point, for what? He is never going back to that school. And it's easy for us to sit at home, if you're a supporter of his, it's easy for you to sit at home and say, how could you say that about Mr. Burke? It's not you or I that have to do the time. It's he. And his family are outside sort of going, yes, he should, he needs to. That man could be in prison for the rest of his life because he's breaching a court order not to go back to that school. And whether he does or doesn't, it doesn't even address his appeal to his dismissal from that school for the reason of his confrontation of staff there over his refusal to use they, them pronouns. So, as I say, he can stay in prison for the rest of his life if he wants to. That's completely up to him. And his supporters can say, great, but they're not having to be in prison, eating slop and socialising with the type of people I've just mentioned. So that's all I was saying, which I thought I was quite clear, but clearly not. A caller says judicial reviews are not the planning problem, but bad planning and ignoring the laws that protect the environment are. Indeed, we got that one in yesterday. The Fianna Fáil review of its handling of the presidential election could be delayed until after Christmas. Then this government say, trust us. That's a kind of an internal Fianna Fáil matter, so I don't think it's separate to government, is it? I don't know. Only in Ireland would we take a war president into our country and give him over 100 million to kill people while our own people suffer. Well, they say that what are they saying? That it's for non-military reasons. Brilliant, Greg, get to the truth. I'm not sure what that's in relation to. Hi, a courier has lost his wallet out delivering to Dunlow, Leitrim Ward and Ardra areas while delivering to houses. If people could keep an eye out and if found, maybe contact. Much appreciated, right? So these guys and girls are dead busy at this time of year. They're fantastic, actually, you know, up and down the byways and highways, all over the place, making sure that everyone gets their stuff. They're flat out. So fair play to them and the on-post teams too. They just fly around the place making deliveries. They do fantastic work. But anyway, one was doing his work in the west of the county. So he was in Dunlow, Leitrim Ward and Ardra. So if you found a wallet on your driveway or what have you, then it's the couriers. So you can get in contact with us and we can pass on that number to you. It'd be great to get it back to them, wouldn't it? So did you find a wallet in the Dunlow, Leitrim Ward, Ardra areas? But more generally speaking, if you come across a wallet, you never know where you've lost it. Get it back to that courier because I'm sure they have their own plans. Just a heads up on a text message scam that's going around. Just to be very clear now, the days where it had to be an African number, a European number, they're gone now because they can clone any number that they like. And the new scam at the moment is purporting to be from the credit union, and it says a new payee, Jamie Smith, very general, has been added to your account. Call us immediately on 048-252-1568 if this wasn't you. Did we call that number? I wonder what, did you call that number out of interest to anyone? No? Caroline? No? Did we call that credit union scam number? No? Be interesting to. It's an 048 number, so it's how you dial into the north from the Republic, just to see what they say. I'd imagine it'll be a recorded message. Eventually what they will do, though, is try and scam you. Right now, festive Christmas tea is taking place tomorrow between 10:30am and 1pm in the Miva Family Resource Centre in Downings. You're invited to come along, sample the festive delights and browse the bric-a-brac sale. Donations of baking are welcome. So it's to support the Christmas raffle. It's tomorrow in the Miva Family Resource Centre, Downings, between 10:30am and 1pm. So get along to that. Nice wee poster they've done up there with Santi pointing to support our raffle. Was there something else that I wanted to give a plug to? Anyway, I can do it at any stage. I can do it at any stage throughout the morning. Right, let us take a break. Here. Amy Rose Carey from Fawn is off to the toy show. I'm wondering if you could wish her well, Greg. Yes, indeed. I'd love to chat to Amy Rose as well. It's no problem at all. I presume we've been reaching out in that regard. Of course, anytime anyone in this region is doing well, we want to give them a platform and have a chat, but certainly cheer them on. And it'll be an extra reason for people to watch that show tomorrow night. It is tomorrow night, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, back after these.
The county's #1 talk show, The 9 till Noon Show on Highland Radio.
It's time for Vision Ireland Bingo on Highland Radio.
It's Thursday, the 4th of December, Jackpot Day. You're playing for the jackpot prize of €11,800 on the pink sheet. The reference number is S4. It's game number 49. The jackpot number is number 9. This number can come out in any position from the next 10 numbers drawn. And now, here are your daily numbers: 23, 83, 46, 24, 32, 58, 31, 65, 2, and finally 4. Phone your claim to 9104833 before midnight, leaving your name, contact number and the name of the shop where you purchased your book, and we'll call you back the next working day. Get all your Vision Ireland bingo information at highlandradio.com.
Ireland's favourite folk group, the High Kings, are kicking off 2026 right here on Donegal with the Rocky Road Tour. Expect new songs, timeless favourites, and all the incredible energy you love. The Mount Errigal Hotel, Letterkenny, January 2nd. Get your tickets now at ticketmaster.ie or hotel reception. Presented by Joe Gallagher Entertainments.
Bring home chef quality food this Christmas with Dunnes Stores Simply Better. Entertain in style with Irish farmhouse and continental cheeses, served alongside Italian and Spanish charcuterie meats. And there's plenty to share with Black Tiger tempura prawns or our handmade dips like our new Hot Honey Ranch. And you can save more with your 10 off 50 voucher. Dunnes Stores, make Christmas simply better. Terms and conditions apply. Voucher could be used in next grocery shop.
Make a splash this new year with Aura Swim Academy Letterkenny. Book your child's swimming lessons now for January 2026 and you could win a family holiday worth €3,500. But hurry, places are limited and the draw closes December 21st. Visit auraleisure.ie/swim. No purchase necessary to enter. Other T's and C's apply.
This Thursday, join David James on the J Time Show as he broadcasts live from the Donegal Boardwalk Resort to celebrate the opening of the brand new Spa on the Mara. We'll be there from 2:30 to 5 p.m. with refreshments, tours at the spa and a chance to sample their products. Make sure you tune in and call down to experience it for yourself.
The 9 till Noon Show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union. Digital loans now available. Apply online or via our app today and get your loan transferred directly to your current account.
Let's head south to Donegal Tan. Eugene Gallen is owner of the Eurosaver and member of the Donegal Tan Business Focus Group. Morning, Eugene. Good to chat to you again.
Good morning, Greg.
Right, so you're concerned at, which is kind of ironic given the huge investment in the Garda station in Donegal Town. You're concerned about a lack of Gardaí. Talk to me about the incident that sort of copper fastened this point of view of yours.
Well, this is sort of the straw that broke the camel's back yesterday for me in a way, but we've been meeting, we met the local sergeant here 2 weeks ago. He's a really good fella, and Sergeant Devaney, and a brilliant man, and he does a lot of, he does his best. He's no manpower. Yesterday, for example, I was in the shop, and one of my assistants told me I was serving a man and woman, and they brought to my attention this boy was on stealing. So I seen him up at the door, got up and I reached for him. We kind of jostled a bit, but I didn't let him out the door. Then I pushed him out the door and I held on to him. Be good luck. I seen the Garda car coming, so I started whistling and roaring, and the boy pulled up on the blue flashers. And I says to him, this boy's here, Stephen, around the town. And this particular individual is the town tortured. He's come on the scene 6 weeks ago, so I don't know him really. But anyway, I don't know his story, so I'm not going to go into details about him as much. But anyway, I was explaining, and the guard said to me, I'm on my own. And I said, what's that got to do anything? I said, you can arrest him. He says, he's only after taking him back from court. And I says, what? And I said, you dropped him off again, and he's stealing before you've left the town. And then I was a bit angry, and then the boy started folding himself, and he said, oh, he assaulted me, he said. And the gentleman that had actually been serving came out, and he talked to the guard, and he says, "Listen, I'm an off-duty Metropolitan Police member." I said, "I'm on holidays." The gentleman didn't touch him. He said he was stealing. He says, "That's what he was doing." He said, and he caught him. And I said, "Thanks very much." I said, "You didn't need to do that." But I said, "Appreciate it." The guard said, "I know." I said, "Listen, I'm leaving you with it." I left him. And this has been on for a while around the town. We're probably a victim of our own success in Donegal town. It's become really busy town this last couple of years with tourism, and now even this time of year, people from all over are coming. But some days the station wasn't open yesterday, Greg. Wasn't open. And I've had listen, I've talked to the sergeant. It's frustration. They haven't got no manpower, nobody to help them. A couple of guards on, and I was saying to him, the only thing that's effective, if you see a guard walking around the town, one or two, just walking around, not all day, but showing a presence, not in doing paperwork too. This is another problem. They have them doing this stuff, get civilians in to do that. But we have a real issue here in Donegal. We have a state-of-the-art Garda station, Greg. It's like having a state-of-the-art football stadium and having 4 footballers. That's exactly what it's like.
Yeah. Just to backtrack a little bit, was the person arrested in the end?
I would say he wouldn't have been held too long if he was, because the boy was on his own. He'd come back up to. He wasn't from Donegal town. I was that mad, and I didn't want to, because I was cross, but I wanted to take him out of the guard because I understand really it wasn't his problem. It wasn't his fault.
But he's got protocols to follow as well, so I'm not sure. Maybe just in terms of the protocols, the 2 Gardaí are required. But just Eugene, the guard said to you, and this is anecdotal. The guard said to you that the person that you had restrained for shoplifting in your shop had just been dropped back from court into the town and went straight to your shop and allegedly engaged in shoplifting there.
Before he had left, I'm on camera, and then he was cute. He started to make out that I assaulted him, but off camera, so we could see that in his cameras outside the shop, the pub beside me, the bank bar, and the fellow come out. He just happened to pure coincidence. He was an off-duty Metropolitan Police officer, and he spoke up for me and said about your man, so it was. But hey, this guy, he's out of for every shop, and he's come on the scene 6 weeks ago. He's everybody tortured. There's a wee girl in with me from another shop, and she's petrified of him. Now, that's only one incident. She's afraid doing her job. The girl who works for me is afraid. A lot of people are afraid, not just to him. There's I know a lot of it's petty crime, but there's some it's not so petty. And when somebody's afraid coming to their work, the only thing sorts that out if you have a guard presence, you can phone a guard. The guards are trained to deal with these situations, and they're very good at it. Yeah. But it's not our job. It's not my job to restrain boys, start jostling them. And I'm not going to touch them because I know I'll end up in bother.
But you see, the problem is the problem that these guys know that too, right? They know that as well.
They do.
Yeah.
Listen, the amount of stuff that shops lost from theft, that is unreal.
Is this particularly? Do you think this is a particularly new feature of life in Donegal town? As you would know, Eugene, I spent a lot of time around
I've
the
noticed
town.
it bad.
It's not something. It's not something that was an everyday conversation, right? It just. I mean, there's always instances, right? But this seems new.
I came here in 2004, Greg. The start of 2004. So I'm here a long time now, and I love the town. The people from the surrounding areas, like from Kilcar, Ballintrae, all over. It's great crack, great local people, and it's a brilliant town to come to, and it's a joy to come to work. But I've noticed that we've probably become a victim of our own success. There's so many different people coming, and it's not different people. It could be anybody now. Don't get me wrong. This isn't just you'll be surprised some of the people that does the thieving. There's no resources. They've been cut back. When I come here, there was no problem. There was plenty of guards. No, it's cut back.
I remember going into the Garda station in the Donegal town and to get something signed, and there'd be 2 Gardaí milling about, and maybe one that would deal with you at the front desk. So yesterday, the Garda station was unoccupied.
It was closed, locked up.
So presumably then the focus now is on Ballyshannon as the district HQ, and that big, massive €2 or €3 million Garda station now is the same as the one with the green knob on it outside it in Ballintrae that used to be there. That's really what it's become then, hasn't it?
But I'm not being disrespectful, but Donegal town is away the busiest town after Letterkenny over here. I'm telling you, with football, you didn't have to go to ask the tourism office. The amount of people comes here, and
it's the gateway to the county as well. You've got the development going on just down the road from you now. every night. It's pretty busy. There's events on and what have you. It's a real destination.
There's not many. Yeah, there's not many empty shop units here, and with a big the cafetery's opening a big place down where Pier 1 was. Fantastic place. Across the road, Paul Kennedy's opening a local fish and chip shop again, and where Four Lanterns closed. Like, things is happening here, and it's always happening. We've 80 members in the business focus group, and we were on about these issues. Like, it's a great problem to have all these people coming, but you do need effective policing.
There's also
law and order is a big issue.
I just want to say something though in defence of the Gardaí, because if I was a guard, I'd be incredibly frustrated. There's a serious issue with this rotating door where people can commit a crime and come back out again and commit that crime, get legal aid, go through my understanding is this person that we're talking of, in one business alone has been reported 7 times. So what do you do as a guard? It's very frustrating.
The guards have my total sympathy. The guards here are brilliant. There's a fact. Like, there's no issue. And we always have had good guards here and do a good job, but their job has become impossible with shortage. You can't do nothing if you haven't the manpower to do it, and that's the truth. And it's not a political point here, but they need to look. The Minister for Justice, Jim O'Callaghan, needs to look. Whatever it takes to get more guards.
Yeah, but it's the model of policing. You see, the idea now is that the guards aren't in the station; they're out and about. They're able to respond where they need to respond. Like, it'd be really interesting if that. Did that guard radio for support and you know what I mean? And how quickly would that be incoming? Where would those squad cars be? They could be in Pettigo,
There's many days here there's absolutely no presence at all. And a big town like this, a busy town, it's not feasible. Like, they need to look at this. Shopkeepers are paying their way. Like, and we're like, you heard you chatting to on their Letterkenny or the chamber or whatever, and the rates and stuff like that. We pay rates. We pay, with all these things to deal with. We don't mind that, but
what's
we
the
want
return?
the government to provide us with proper service.
Yeah, what's the return for it? I get you.
And all these there's new taxes for this and new taxes for that. That's all right, but give us something for it. We're not. Policing is a serious issue. Like, we need more guards here. Like, for Donegal Town, big town.
All right, Eugene. Listen, thanks for that. Before I let you go, what's the big seller?
Listen,
what's the big seller coming up to Christmas in the shop?
Demon Hunters. They're a way crazy for them. There was Labubus, but Demon Hunters.
And what is a Labubu? What is a Labubu? I was visiting Santa and a couple of girls, and we're looking for Labubu. Yeah. What's Labubu?
Labubu is a strange character that appeared this year. My brother would be in China about 4 or 5 times a year.
Yeah.
The latest trend, he gets these. And he told me, I'm going to show you a picture of this thing. You must buy them. And I said, you're off your rocker. I said, they look like nothing. They'll not sell. He says, well, I'll put them into you. And he says, I'll give you back your money if they don't sell. I was phoning them within a week. And I said, I want more of them. Them's the line. And same as these Demon Hunters. And he just happened to phone me when I was on my daughter's house. And my granddaughter was there, and she's 5. And she could hear the conversation, and I said, "Come, well, what's a Demon Hunter?" And I could hear her, just her breath, and she said to me, "Granda, Demon Hunters." She said, "I watch it every day on the TV. It's on Netflix."
I know Demon Hunters. I know Demon Hunters.
It's massive.
But Labubu, they're like, I suppose Labubus are just another incarnation of these kind of toys we've seen down the years, aren't they? They're wee fluffy kind of creatures.
The closest thing you'd nearly say, like a gremlin.
Yeah,
you remember them?
Yeah. All right, okay.
It's nearly a boy like that. Like, it's a strange type of thing, but I love them. And that's just a strange thing. It's one of these ideas that started like it was. I never thought it would sell, but there you go.
Well, you should always listen to your brother. That's what I've been telling my brother Eugene. You always listen to me.
No, he's caught me in the past. He's caught me in the past, Greg.
All right, listen, well done. You're still a blow-in, by the way. 21 years, still blowing in. Don't worry about that. Always will be too. But here, I appreciate you ringing us. I appreciate that very much. Keep listening. Take care of yourself. Right, that's Eugene Gallen. He's the owner of the Eurosaver and member of the Donegal Town Business Focus Group. Yeah, looking at these Labubus, they are like gremlins, aren't they? They're quite scary looking wee things. But there you go. And I think there's apps with them and all that kind of stuff. But they seem to be all the rage. So, hey, there's going to be a ton of Demon Hunters on the Late Show tomorrow night. I'd imagine, the Late Toy Show. And there's no doubt Labubu are going to feature, because when we were at, where were we at again? We managed to book because we were spamming the website to Glenveigh, and there was a lovely wee storytelling room that all the children went into, and a lot of them looking for Labubu. Barbie still was mentioned. What else? Barbie was mentioned, Labubu, Demon Hunters, Barbie in the Dollhouse. That stuff's still very, very popular. So that's it. That's going to be the boys and girls. If they're really, really good, I'm sure lots of them are going to be looking for that off Santi, if they are good, and get to bed.
Watch the show live now on YouTube, Facebook, and at highlandradio.com. The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, with monster loans available up to €60,000 for all occasions. Visit letterkennycu.ie.
Nights with friends, Centra Bite, tiny vol au vents. Festive drinks, cheesy Bordeaux, and that gift that you forgot. You log cakes, cookies, milk, Santa's on his way. For all you need this season, Centra's never far away. Centra, live every day.
This Christmas, don't miss the sound that makes the season magical. At Connect Hearing, we understand that hearing is more than sound, it's connection. Our expert team provides personalised hearing care, from gentle wax removal to the latest in advanced hearing aids, tailored to you, so you can enjoy every laugh, every song, every precious moment. Call Connect Hearing today on 07491 13296. Connect Hearing, connecting you to life this Christmas and beyond.
In the old Christmas run-up, everyone's squeezing in those last-minute jobs. Screwfix are helping you plough through them with 24 days of surprises to unwrap in the Screwfix app. Don't miss out on offers on big brands. Wrap a new surprise each day. Screwfix, no stopping you. Only on the app. Permissions required. No purchase necessary. For full T&Cs, see screwfix.ie.
Please support the St Vincent de Paul annual appeal. Donate today at svp.ie or call 0818 176 176. Thank you.
The 2026 commercial range is here at iMotors. Upgrade your fleet with a Nissan Primastar or new Nissan Interstar and get either fuel up or tool up. €1,000 fuel or €1,000 tools with your purchase. You invest in your van and we'll invest in your business. Reliable vehicles that keep your business moving. All backed by 5 years warranty. Pre-order before December 23rd for a chance to win €10,000 exclusive to iMotors. iMotors, the fearless generation.
Celebrate the life and music of the legendary Joe Dolan live at the Mount Errigal Hotel, Letterkenny, Friday, January the 16th, with the Dolan family and the original Joe Dolan band performing all the classics, Good Looking Woman, Make Me an Island, and many more. Tickets on sale now from the hotel reception and ticketmaster.ie.
Donegal County Council have opened applications for funding under the Community Climate Action Programme Strand 1, building low-carbon communities, and will be accepting applications up until the 22nd of December 2025. The Community Climate Action Programme supports small and large rural and urban communities to take climate action at a local level, which will in turn contribute to the national climate and energy targets. For more information on eligibility and how to apply, please visit donegalcoco.ie.
Now, Strabane Town Centre's public realm scheme has been given the green light. Derry City and Strabane District Council's Planning Committee has this week approved a significant public realm improvement scheme for Strabane Town Centre. SDLP Councillor John Boyle joins me on the show now. Good morning, John. Thanks for your time.
Good morning, Greg. Good morning.
Right. So, talk to me about it. It's one of those. It's one of those things that it doesn't exactly say what's on the tin, right? It's a funny title. So what does a public realm improvement scheme entail for Strabane?
It's actually a very good question. Well, obviously the public realm is the streets that we walk upon and drive through. That's effectively what a public realm is. And this decision, it's a major one. It's a major investment actually as well. It's in and around £8 million to improve the overall public space experience for people. You know, the approved scheme will focus on realignment of some key junctions in Strabane Town Centre, specifically at Railway Street, Derry Road, and Abercorn Square, on Market Street, Church Street, Butcher Street. Basically, to improve traffic flow and safety, and just improve the public amenity. Really. It also includes plans for extensive works for resurfacing of footpaths, the installation of new pedestrian crossing points, the introduction of new street furniture and planting, etc. And
so it's a
I think
major
it's
face.
fantastic use for Strabane.
It's a major facelift, then, isn't it? It gives a cleaner, more accessible, I presume, because that's bound to factor into it, pedestrian accessibility for people of all mobility, but also to get traffic moving quicker, tidy up junctions, tidy up the streets. It sounds to me like a quite a significant facelift and reimagining.
Well, it's interesting you use the word facelift because it is probably a facelift more again, you know. I mean, that's the reality of it. I mean, the planning committee yesterday, which I am chair of, were unanimous in the decision to approve the scheme, you know. And it's taken us some time to work it up because it is such a major improvement scheme. And it will transform the appearance and the functionality of Strabane Town Centre. There's absolutely no doubt about that, Greg. You know, it'll certainly make it more attractive, and it will make it more accessible, of course.
For sure. So you've got approval for it. You've got it costed. What about funding it, financing it? How does that work?
Well, that'll work. That'll work through the usual rates process that we have, and we have it planned. But also, it will form part of what's called our City Deal projects, and we have a lot of City Deal projects in the offing in both Derry City and Strabane. And this is one of our City Deal projects, which is basically funded through UK government, a combination of UK government and the local council, etc. You know, so. That's how it's funded, really, you know, and it's very, very exciting. You know, it's very exciting.
And what it means is there's an accessible pathway to funding it, because, you know, some of these ideas can be there, but you wonder then how they can be delivered. So that's good. And, you know, obviously, in the first instance, it's about sort of making it a nicer place for those that are there now. But these things can have a knock-on effect, make places more attractive to live, to work, to invest into, you know. I know it might sound a bit grandiose, that, but it does work like that. We've seen it elsewhere.
Yeah, I don't think it is grandiose, to be honest with you. I think you're completely correct in your assessment of that. You know, I mean, if we provide attractive spaces for people to work, rest and shop, etc., then that'll encourage people to come into the town centre. Obviously, many of your listeners will be very familiar with Strabane Town Centre, and I think maybe, you know, people would readily admit that, you know, it's probably all looking a bit tired, and it really does need this kind of investment and work carried out. You know, so we're delighted to support it. We're delighted that it's going to happen. I don't actually have a time frame for when the works will start, unfortunately, at the minute, Greg. But one would, you know, I'd be very hopeful it'll not be too far into the future.
Anytime you have
but I'm very confident it will happen. There's no doubt about that.
I hope so, because it's not unfamiliar for a big area that is next to a bigger area to sometimes feel like the poor relation, that everything seems to be going elsewhere. So, you know, in the northwest, we feel that maybe it's hard to get stuff from Belfast and investment in this part of the world, right? Or Dublin. But I presume, too, sometimes the people of Strabane feel that an awful lot of the attention of anything that does come to the northwest goes to Derry. I'm not trying to say there's any split or divide there, but it's nice to see significant investment in Strabane.
Oh yeah, I will see much more as well in the coming years. You know, we've got plans for a new leisure centre there in the Canal Basin area, a health hub, etc. You know, so we will see an awful lot more of this sort of stuff in Strabane. And yeah, I'm actually a Derry City-based councillor, but I know Strabane well enough. You know, and you know, I'm not a great fan of the rivalry.
Yeah, but you know that's because
because we're all in it. I believe, Greg. Honestly, I believe we're all in it together.
We are.
We've got to try to make it work for everybody.
We are, of course. But listen, I understand where you're coming from as well, Councillor. Thanks for that. Take care of yourself, Councillor John Boyle. There. Tomorrow we are broadcasting live from Anne McGonigal's Glendown Craft Shop. We're going out to Clonmany, and the 9 till noon show is there to celebrate By Donegal Day 2025. You know, this initiative is seen as a fantastic opportunity for businesses in the area to showcase their products, their services, etc. And it can be anything from providing, handmade crafts to vouchers for hairdressers, right? So all businesses are equal. And it's been developed by Donegal County Council, and it runs until December 19th. So we're going to be there tomorrow at Anne McGonigal's in Clonmany just to give it an extra push. Right, now I've tried to talk about this Secret Santa thing at different times of the show to give everyone a chance, because people tune in at different times. That's how I listen to radio, but most of you listen all the time, which is great. So we've teamed up with Cadbury Secret Santa this year for our prize. And it's part of their initiative again this year to give away 20,000 bars of chocolate. They're giving away that many this year. So you will see posters around the place, right? And you can nominate someone to receive a chocolate bar anonymously. It's a nice wee thing. As I say, check out the posters that are around the county. And to celebrate all of this, we're giving away €500 worth of one for all vouchers, effectively. They're cash. So it's 250 for you who's nominating, but also €250 for the person you're nominating. And all we're asking is for you to tell us why they would be a worthy recipient of a Secret Santa bar. What's special about them? What do they do? How are they important to you? And it's all types of stories as well. We've had some amazing stories, but it could be that they're just really your social life or something. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to be too prescriptive. So text in or WhatsApp 086 60 25,000 who you think deserves a Secret Santa bar, and they could be getting much more than that too come Friday. You can also email comments@highlandradio.com. So we've had 3 winners so far, so they're 3 daily winners. And the prize is to go into the hat on Friday to win this prize of a €250 one for all voucher for you, the nominee, and a €250 voucher for the person that you've nominated, that special person. So text or WhatsApp 086 60 25,000 or email comments@highlandradio.com, and keep an eye out for these Cadbury Secret Santa signs across the county. They're special posters. You'll know them when you see them, and it means you can send a bar to someone in secret who's special to you, which is a nice wee thing. It must be very successful for them because they've been doing it for quite some time now. On policing in Donegal town, brand new Garda station built, no Gardaí. It's a strange one. How was this man not arrested? I'm not sure if he was arrested. Another well-spoken Eugene Gallen. Stephen McGlynn on social media says Donegal's changed so much and not for the better. Another caller says another business has reported this same fella 7 times for breaking and entering. Nothing's been done to date, they say. He's also terrorising staff, and young girls have felt uncomfortable. So there you go. What's a short Gardaí going to do with a 6'6" thief? Well, I mean, I would never underestimate people's size, to be honest with you. And that's a very extreme example. I think you see the guards out and about. Generally speaking, they're certainly of a certain stature. But why should height be? If you can slap on a pair of cuffs, and God knows, maybe even taser them now. You can post your letter to Santa in the Red North poll box outside the Convoy Post Office, by the way. I've been asked to mention that. No problem. Let me see. You're the same as RTE. The government propping you up. They did during COVID. You must go along with what they do. Explain to me what you mean by that. How am I going along with what the government say or do? I'm not going along with it, and I'm not going along with it, right? So what do you mean by that? I respect your opinion. You've thrown something out there. Send me another text and explain exactly what you mean. Put a bit of meat behind the accusation so that we can understand exactly what you mean by that. Because I don't mind criticism, but just give me some, Don't just throw something out that doesn't make much sense. Enoch Berg doesn't recognise the court order as legally correct or legitimate, and I would say he's right, and I think in time this state will have to settle with him, and I for one hope he takes them for millions. It's quite simple. A court order is a court order. Whether you like it or not, the court order is for a specific reason. He's going to sit and rot in jail for a long time waiting for the state to settle with him. Greg, as I said before, you may not realise it, but you seem to have a lean to LGBT. Especially when you're talking about Enoch Burke and trying to give the impression that the justice system is squeaky clean. Not giving the impression the justice system is squeaky clean. It's far from it. In fact, I call out the justice system, particularly soft sentencing on people who are contributing in a very big way to child sexual abuse. I am no lovey of the courts, don't get me wrong, and I do think the courts are, some of the sentencing from certain judges, peculiar. Leaning to LGBT issues, I have no problem at all. I don't know what you're on about with LGBT issues. That includes lesbian and gay people, bisexual people, friends, family members, a part of that community. I have nothing against them at all whatsoever. And so if I'm being accused of leaning towards the lesbian, gay, bisexual community, no problem whatsoever. I'm not really over familiar with the whole trans debate and everything that follows that. I have my own personal views in relation to that, especially as it comes to children. And I'm not separating the T from the LGB. I'm not doing that because I'm familiar with elements of that and unfamiliar with others. I have my concerns in certain areas, which I've expressed on this show as a parent. But I'll lean in all day to LGB, no problem. And as I learn more about the rest that follows, we discuss it and what have you. I'm not anti anything as such. I'm very pro people's rights, but I'm also pro our right to make sure that children are cared for as they should be. I'm pro women's and girls' rights to their rights in this space as well. It's a complicated debate. So there you go. I hope that kind of somewhat answers that. Okay, I have to take a break and we'll be back with more after these.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union, now offering mortgages from 40,000 to 600,000 euro with no hidden fees or transaction charges. Letterkenny Credit Union, 9102127.
Are you worried about trees on your property? Northwest Forestry Services Ballybuffet are fully insured and have over 40 years experience in dangerous tree removal, tree felling, surgery and stump grinding. For peace of mind, call Northwest Forest Services Ballybuffet for a no obligation quotation on 913233.
Start the day with our mini breakfast at Sweeney's Hotel Dunlow. Only €10 at Bacchus Bakery. Then slow Sunday right down with Sunday lunch and glass restaurant from $18.50 for one course. Festive comfort, great food and winter warmth are waiting. Book now. Sweeney's Hotel 074 952 1085.
Discover your perfect festive look at Evolve Clothing this Christmas. From casual wear to suits, streetwear, and a standout footwear collection. We've got it all. Call into us at Letterkenny Retail Park and step into holiday style today.
The Three Amigos, Jimmy Buckley, Robert Mazzell and Patrick Feeney are back on tour. This award-winning show is full of laughter, music and song. See the Three Amigos live. Clonry Hotel, Letterkenny, Monday, January 26th. Tickets priced $39.50, now on sale at hotel reception and ticketmaster.ie, where extra charges may apply. The Three Amigos live. This show is not to be missed.
A public interest message from Donegal Road Safety Working Group and Donegal County Council, working together to prevent a rise in road fatalities and serious injuries. Christmas and New Year is a time for coming together, but also a time to take extra care on our roads. Shorter days and winter weather means reduced visibility, slippery surfaces and longer stopping distances. Every driver is urged to stay alert, remove distractions and remember, never drink or drug drive. Every safe choice makes a difference. Drive carefully, look out for each other, arrive safely.
This Thursday, join David James on the J Time Show as he broadcasts live from the Donegal Boardwalk Resort to celebrate the opening of the brand new Spa in the Mara. We'll be there from 2:30 to 5 p.m. with refreshments, tours of the spa and a chance to sample their products. Make sure you tune in and call down to experience it for yourself.
Highland Radio weather updates with McElhinney's. Find Christmas inspiration for everyone, from top beauty gifts to perfect last-minute ideas. Visit us in Ballybuffet to explore the full range or shop online anytime at mcelhinneys.com.
Okay, dry and bright today, sunny spells, isolated showers after cloud and any lingering rain in the northeast clears. Now will become cloudier through the evening with scattered showers moving eastwards, temperatures 5 to 8 degrees. Aoife Carraher is Head of Communications at the Ombudsman's for Children's Office. Good morning, Aoife. Sorry for holding you there.
Hi, Greg. How are you?
I'm good. Right, now, we're talking in the context of this new survey, focusing, obviously, as you can imagine, on young people. And the survey shows, and it's by your office, that 2/3 of young people see extremist views online. So what are we talking about there, Aoife?
Yes, Greg. So we carried out this survey with children in secondary schools in Ireland, and 626 young people took part in 28 schools. So over the last couple of years, we have carried out surveys in schools on different issues. And last year, one of the things that came up was that discrimination was an issue for young people. So we were kind of thinking that might be something that's worth us looking into in a bit more detail. And then alongside that, we do workshops every week with young people. They come into our office and we see about 2,000 young people every year. And this idea of extremism and discrimination and gender roles was coming up all the time in the workshops that the young people were having with us. So then with those two elements, we decided this was definitely something that we wanted to look into in a bit more detail. So we have a youth advisory panel in the office, and we worked with the young people to come up with the questions for this. So we kind of asked them, what are you seeing in the classroom? What are you seeing in your everyday life? And that's kind of where we got to with the questions, I suppose. And that's where we went out to the young people to ask them what their views were. And then, as you said there, we kind of came back with some things that we would have expected, in that we kind of did expect that there would be a lot of activity online. Like a lot of young people live a lot of their lives online, but I suppose 63% are hearing more extreme views online than in person. So it kind of really shows the whole online side of things.
Yeah, and the problem is potentially it's grooming them to some extent, because, you know, we are influenced by what we see. And if you stay on a video for any moment of time, you're going to see more of those videos. And the reason I use that word in this context is because in real life, you know, where they exist and coexist, very few of them encounter these views. But in the online space, they're getting them, and whilst the survey might not count how often it's happening, or maybe it does, you know, this is their young minds receiving a lot of this information.
Yeah, definitely. And in the survey, we made a recommendation, you know, of what should happen to try and help young people. And what you're saying about algorithms and recommender algorithms, essentially, which is feeding that information to young people, that's something that definitely we see as a big issue for young people. And we would love to see the government asking, and the Commission and man looking into, you know, how can we get the social media companies to turn off those algorithms for young people. You know, that it's not the case that if you fit into a certain demographic, if you're a young person of whatever age and you're a boy, that you automatically get fed this stuff. And as you say, if you linger for a couple of seconds, then you're inundated with it. And similarly, I know there's other issues that come up for girls that they get fed. But in this case, it seems to be that these extreme ideas are definitely impacting the young boys and men definitely more. And from the very beginning of this process, like when I was saying, we were talking to our youth advisory panel, the girls were completely different to the boys. They were kind of going, no, we don't really see it that much.
Yeah, but they're seeing different stuff. The girls are being conditioned to a certain look, a certain way they must behave to match potentially expectations of men. You know, they're poor skin advice, poor dieting advice. They're being monitorized in a different way. They're being monitorized in a different way.
That might be something that'd be worth looking. Yeah, it would be worth looking into that a bit more on the girls' side of things. But yeah, definitely, that's the issue with the algorithms.
Because
the
money in the boys,
the
money in the boys is in the tough guy, anti this, anti that. The money in the girls is somewhat different, and the algorithms are so clever because it's designed like this that they will target them based on their sex, and they're just products, which is terrible. And they're being conditioned and they're being brainwashed, which is something we should all, every responsible adult, and I'm sure they do, would like their children to get a range of information. Isn't that normal? That'd be normal, Aoife. That's what we want, and that's what should be available online.
Yeah, and one really positive thing that did come out of the survey, Greg, was just that 50% of students say that their parents and their guardians are the main influence in their lives, and 30% are their friends. So even though there's this huge conversation happening online, I think it's really important that we remember that it's the in-person conversations that have such power to influence the young people.
The one thing I will say on that, Eva, I agree with you, and that's important, but unless we get a handle on it, that scale will tip.
Definitely, yeah.
There's no doubt about
that.
Yeah,
definitely.
Brilliant, Aoife. Thank you so very much indeed. Aoife Carraher, Head of Communications at the Ombudsman's for Children's Office. You can get more information on that by Googling it and you'll find it.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, offering low-rate car loans with fast approval. Apply online at letterkennycu.ie or in office today.
See the Furies live on their last ever Northern Ireland concert at the Millennium Forum Derry on Thursday, May 21st. Tickets from the box office 04871 264455 and millenniumforum.co.uk. Enjoy Red Rose Cafe, Suite 16, the Green Fields of France and lots more. The Furies, the Millennium Forum Derry on Thursday, May 21st. An ideal Christmas gift.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas, and at Home Store and More, we've everything you'll need to make merry for sure. From twinkling lights and festive decor to cosy throws, we've got it and more. Choose from our extensive range of half-price Christmas tree lights to light up your home blue or bright or glowing warm white. And a Christmas tree, or maybe even 2, will make your home feel even more right. Enjoy Christmas. Visit us in-store, shop online at homestoreandmore.ie. Home Store and More. A happy home.
The Private Security Authority is the government body responsible for regulating the private security industry. Every day, licensed security services protect billions of euros worth of goods and ensure the safety and security of thousands of people and businesses. When choosing a security service for your home or business, choose one licensed by the Private Security Authority. If you choose an unlicensed security provider, you could face prosecution. Visit psa-gov.ie for more information and a list of licensed security services.
The spectacular Gerbola's Christmas Circus comes to the Neil T. Blaney Road in Letterkenny from Friday, December the 5th for 2 weeks of festive family fun, featuring some of the biggest stars in world circus, including from Paraguay, the death-defying motorbikes inside the Globe of Death, and from Brazil, the legendary Flying Trapeze. Book your circus tickets now on circusgerbola.ie.
Zach Bryan, live at Park Equive, Cork, June 20th and 21st, and Boucher Road, Belfast, June 23rd and 24th. Subject to license. Tickets from $97.25 go on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. May be subject to fees. Presented by Aiken Promotions.
Shop top brands this Christmas at Meehan's of Rafo, including Diesel, Wrangler, Mineral, Kenro, Drifter and Remus Umo. Men's polo shirts, quarter zips, chinos and shirts up to 5XL. Also Rant and Rave and Diesel for ladies at Meehan's of Rafo. Gift vouchers available.
The county's #1 talk show, the 9 till noon show on Highland Radio.
It's 11 o'clock, time for a news update, and it's Good Morning, Donald Kavanagh.
Thank you, Greg. Good morning. The reconvened budget meeting of Donegal County Council has been adjourned once more. When the meeting got underway just after 10 o'clock, Cathaoirleach Paul Canning called for an adjournment until noon. This was due to a number of items which he said need further discussion with the Council's executive. That proposal was met with opposition from Councillors Jimmy Brogan and Micheál Colmcille-Aspach, who accused the Cathaoirleach and others of grandstanding. However, with support from other members, the motion to adjourn was carried. Ireland's major fishing organisations met the Taoiseach and Fisheries Minister last evening in a bid to secure strong government backing ahead of next week's EU Fisheries Council meeting in Brussels. The Seafood Ireland Alliance warned new scientific advice could result in quota cuts leading to industry losses of up to €200 million, which would heavily impact towns such as Killybegs. A Donegal TD says confirmation of €700,000 to cover operational costs at Donegal Airport will be vital in securing the future of the Donegal-Dublin air service. The money will go toward air traffic control, fire safety and security screening. Deputy Pat the Cope Gallagher says with a public service obligation that supports the Dublin link due for renewal in the coming weeks, top quality safety and security are paramount. A private member's bill is to be moved at the Assembly in Stormont, calling for regional balance across Northern Ireland. Foyle MLA Sinead McLaughlin has been given leave to have the bill drafted and moved. She told the Assembly this week that while her focus is on Derry and the wider northwest, there is also a pressing issue for many areas outside Belfast. Ms McLaughlin said of 19 new businesses brought in by Invest NI over the past year, none came to Derry. And the Justice Minister is again being urged to commit to reopening Donegal Town Courthouse when he visits Donegal next week. It's been closed since September due to health and safety concerns following a partial ceiling collapse. That prompted a full OPW survey. Well, Councillor Jimmy Brogan says he'll be asking Minister Jim O'Callaghan for a commitment that the courthouse will not suffer the same fate as the courthouse in Carndonagh, which temporarily shut 6 years ago, with no progress since. And we're back with news headlines again at 12 noon.
Dole, thanks very much indeed. And we'll be back with more after this really short break.
Dazzle your guests this Christmas with Aldi's specially selected range. Discover amazing appetizers like flavoured smoked salmon, seasonal spectaculars like Bord Bia quality assured slow-cooked Irish silverside ham, just $19.99, in store December 5th. And dreamy desserts like the ultimate melting baubles, indulgent chocolate with a salted caramel pouring sauce, in store December 19th. If you love Christmas, you love Aldi Specially Selected, while stocks last.
Nope. Hi, Greg. I got a scam text yesterday claiming they were from the tax office. Right, be careful of those scam texts, especially this time of year, because they do time it as to... I hope I don't sound preachy when I talk like this, by the way. I am actually only trying to be helpful and get the information out there. But the point I'm trying to make is that they know what they're at, right? So they'll target it for certain times. So they know potentially that there might be some messages, legitimate messages coming out from the tax office, as I say, at this time of year. We're more than happy to get those out there. By the way, so 086 60 25,000 if you wish to pass any of that info on, and we can get it out to listeners as well. Recrime, no point, says a listener, having a god of presents while the courts are slapping wrists. We only have to look back and see people are avoiding jail. Another, Greg, I work in a shop and a young lad who we've reported 1 million times most definitely steals to order. We're not allowed to stop or touch him, only use the CCTV to prove what he's taken. As a result, he comes in maybe 3 times a day and helps himself. I don't know how businesses are surviving this volume of loss. Caroline or Shannon there, do you remember we did the piece about insurance costs, about how businesses are letting people steal stuff because of the litigation against them? Could you dig out that press release again, just to because it's quite timely now that it's coming up that businesses are being sued left, right and centre by people on this matter. Rosina Toner is with us now. Hi Rosina, lovely to see you. How are you keeping?
Great, thank you.
All right, now you you're using your voice to highlight the importance of donating blood, the importance of it, and you can speak of your own experience and the importance how important it was for you.
Yeah, so when I was diagnosed with cancer, I didn't realise that cancer patients needed so much blood, and I think that it was camouflaged out victims and people into those tragedies. So when they started giving me the blood and I needed so much of it, it really was an eye-opener. So now I really kind of want to put out there that donating blood is really important, and there's so many people need it. And cancer patients, some of us need quite a lot of it.
Rosina, I think your phone is, as it's resting, is sitting on its microphone, and I want to hear every word that you have to say because it's so important. So it just might...
While echo?
Yep, no, we're good now. We're good. We'll focus on the audio of it because that's what's important. Yeah, you're quite right. We associate with blood donations or the need for blood with many things, but not, pregnancy for that matter, or for cancer patients.
Yes. Yeah, so that was another one too. I did know that sometimes after childbirth, blood was needed, but I really had no idea about the cancer. And then when I had my chemotherapy. So when you have chemotherapy, it affects your blood count regardless of what cancer you have. And some people then need the word is just totally left me.
Transfusion?
But transfusion, yes. We need a blood transfusion to up that again. So because I had a blood cancer, it really affected my blood. The chemotherapy was quite intense. So I needed a lot of blood. I can't even count how many bags of blood. And then I also needed platelets, which is a component of the blood which clots, which helps us to clot after if we bleed or anything. So between blood and platelets, and then when I needed the stem cell transplant, that was also a component of the blood. So there was a lot I needed from people, and donating blood, if they hadn't donated the blood, regardless of the chemotherapy, I wouldn't have survived.
Yeah, and you know, Rosina, people are always being asked to donate, and that's fine. And I'm on about sort of donate money or goods or what have you, and not everyone has the resources to. But thankfully, most people can donate blood, and what a gift it is. I mean, the way you've outlined it there, those that are good enough to give blood effectively have given you the gift of life.
Absolutely. And since I've got better, 2 of my sons now donate blood, and they just enjoy it when they get the text to say where their blood went, and it's a really nice thing to get. So like somewhere in the country, your blood has helped someone out of a situation of some description. So it's really important that way. Like they are both now, they're 21 and 23. So they were young when I got sick. So these are just our ways of giving back. I can't donate blood. They can.
You've had a busy 25, haven't you? Thanks to the brilliant medical professionals, science, and the generosity of people with their blood and the stem cells and what have you. You've busy 25. You've been up to a few bits and bobs.
Yeah, do you know what? It's when I was sick, you kind of pray you're going to get better. Then when you get better, you do spend a while thinking, oh my God, that just happened to me. And you do be a bit nervous. This year, I think I finally just got my head back together and all, and started to do the things I've wanted to do. So like climbing Ben Bulbin, it's one of them things. Every time you head out of Donegal towards Sligo, it's sitting up there on your left, and you're like, I'd really love to see what the top of that's like.
And what was it like?
It was beautiful.
Good.
So it was amazing. It was a lovely climb. I went and I joined a group on Facebook who do hiking. So I went to Sligo one morning, met up with this group and climbed this mountain. It was fantastic. And it was just so nice to do it with these people who are really interested in doing it, instead of begging one of my kids to come with me who really didn't want to be.
I think we can all relate to that. And you know what? There's a really active hiking, climbing, walking community in Donegal, and they do fantastic stuff every weekend. And a great community. You did a bit of sailing as well?
I did. I went to Rathlin Island, so that was lovely. And something I've always wanted to do as well is go to Rathlin Island to see the puffins. So I did that. My oldest son, he lives in Perth now. So he's been there 2.5 years. So I went to Perth for 3 weeks, and we went to Sydney, and we went camper vanning up the west coast of Australia to Kalbarri. So it was lovely just to see where he lives, what he does, what his life's like now. So that was just been a lovely 2025, thank God.
And it's all down to, I think, your fighting spirit's a big factor in all of this, but also to what we started the conversation is that gift that people can give. You have spare stuff in your body, right, that you can give to the Irish Blood Transfusion Service. You get a text when it's given to another person. So it's not notional, it's real. And you can get all the information from the Irish Blood Transfusion Service. And Rosina, you're living proof of the importance of that.
And I've just noticed on their Facebook page recently, there's been maybe 2 or 3 different posts put up about how critically low the blood levels are. So if you are in a position to give blood, please do that, because it means so much to somebody else, and it means so much to somebody else's family. It really, and you do get to know where your blood went, which it gives you a nice feeling to know that your blood went such in a place and it's helped someone out of a situation. The bone marrow registry, that is another one that if you're between the ages of 18 and 45, you stay on the registry till you're 55, and you have to be willing to donate to anyone from anywhere in the world. That is another fantastic thing to do, because my siblings, none of them were a match. So I had to get a donor. So a stranger donated blood or stem cells. Then I relapsed. So that stranger came back and donated a second time.
Wow.
Now, the relapse is something that doesn't happen very often, but they came back and donated a second time. Unfortunately, the laws we have, I don't know who that person is. They don't know who I am. But in this house, we think of that person a lot, and we are all very grateful to that person for giving that, because that really meant a lot. Like, that was kind of the final thing that really helped us out of the situation we were in.
All right, listen, and I mean this tongue in cheek, but with them not climbing Bell Bulbin with you and their bone marrow being no use to you, the family, it's a good job they're good at emotional support, right?
And they're very good at emotional support.
I'm only joking. Listen, God bless you, Rosina, and keep up your great advocacy work, and we'll talk about that separately. I just wanted to keep the focus on you and your the importance of donating. Thanks so much.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Take care of yourself. Rosina Toner there, talking of the importance of donating blood. Right, fantastic. She went to see ABBA too. Mamma mia, what a fantastic gift of life donating blood is. A caller says the last 4 years they have said there was going to spend money for the Castlefin to Lifford Greenway, 6 miles of it at a cost of millions. Last year it started up above my house and it's taken months of ripping up footpaths. Now the entire road was ripped up again this week and fully retarred. Someone explain this logic. Rising rates for 5%, yet waste is plentiful. Greg, there are businesses going to the wall every day, owing millions to companies for supplies and millions to banks, receivers appointed, and not 2 will be paid, not 2 cents, I presume that is. Not a word about it. Enoch Burke in prison for his beliefs. This world's gone mad. Another, I hope you don't think I was serious when I suggested giving the council 20 or 30% of an increase. They should be... they accuse them then of not being very responsible with the public's money in a way I can't say, or I'll be off air completely. Hi, Greg. The government is making a lot of money on the VAT at 23%. Families who want to buy a washing or drying machine from electric stores pay the high VAT on the price, then pay €40 for the product to travel from Dublin warehouse to their home, as the electricity stores don't have a local warehouse to store them. It's robbery. Depends on the size of your local supplier, but I do get your wider point there. I'm from Northern Ireland. I was over the border in the B&Q in Letterkenny, and they do not accept sterling notes. This has come up before a couple of years ago. The reason was that the head office can't bank them. I think that's a big loss to a company if they're refusing money, no matter the currency. Some people will just walk out and leave their items if their currency is not accepted. Do you know when cash was primarily the source of spending power, and whether cash is king and all that, right? The truth is the majority of people are tapping or using the cards now, and we get fewer and fewer of these calls. I remember a couple of years back, I can't remember the exact store, but it certainly was a store that has stores on the north and south of the border, and they didn't take sterling, and it was a big hoo-ha. Lots of people were messaging in. But I just wonder if we're getting fewer of these messages now. It's not that the show isn't as busy as it always was. We're flat out, which is great. But I just wonder if it's less of an issue now because people are actually, whether they want to, in some cases happy to, in other cases screaming, kicking and crying into the use of tapping of their phones and cards, because the acceptance of sterling or the acceptance of euro in either direction, it's just not the story. It seems to have once been. But let us know, maybe it is 086 60 25,000.
The county's #1 talk show, The 9 till Noon Show on Highland Radio.
The 9 till Noon Show with Letterkenny Credit Union. Simplify your debts with a debt consolidation loan from Letterkenny Credit Union. Call us on 074 910 2126 or apply online via our app or in office today.
The wait is almost over. The brand new O'Neill's Donegal GAA home jersey launches this Thursday, December the 4th at Brian McCormick Sports. Be the first to wear the colours. Be ready for the new season. Available at Brian McCormick Sports in-store and online from this Thursday the 4th.
TFI Local Link operates evening and weekend services throughout rural Ireland to help you stay connected 7 days a week. We know life doesn't just happen 9 to 5, so if you're commuting, shopping, visiting family, or going out in the evenings or on the weekends, let TFI Local Link take you there. Visit transportforireland.ie. This week at Dunnes Stores, get Hula Hoop 6-pack, Cadbury's 4-pack and selected bottles of 7-Up, Pepsi and Club. Now half price. Find boxes of chocolates like Lily O'Brien's Petty Indulgence Collection 340 gram. Was €24, now €12. Or selected Black Magic and Dairy Box, also half price. And grab Deal 9 of our 12 Deals of Christmas with Regina Blitz 8-roll pack exclusive to Dunnes Stores, now half price. Make Christmas for everyone at Dunnes Stores. Terms and conditions apply. DRS applies.
Maybe you're walking home with a guy you really like after a night in the college bar. Or maybe you and another fella are heading back to his in a taxi after meeting in a club. Or perhaps you've gone home with someone after a really great fourth date. There are lots of times and places where we need to say what we want and what we don't want. Whatever the moment, have the consent conversation.
A message from Coon, a Government of Ireland agency.
Join me, Marty Friel, every Friday night from 8 for Rocket Hits on Highland Radio in association with Arena 7. Dine in our newly refurbished Woodbury Grill, Bar and Restaurant this Christmas with DJ After in the Bowling Bar. Book your Christmas night out at Arena 7 today.
Imagine starting a global career while staying here in Donegal. At TCS Letterkenny, we're hiring IT help desk professionals. Grow and develop your skills every day on projects that make a real impact worldwide. Join us so you can thrive professionally and personally in a supportive local team. Live locally, work globally. Apply today at tcscareers.ie.
Highland Radio Time Checks brought to you by EirGrid, the operator and developer of Ireland's electricity grid. EirGrid, powering up communities, powering up Ireland. The time is...
Okay, the time now is 11:19. You're very welcome back to the 9 till Noon show here on Highland Radio. Don't forget to give us a call if you wish, 086 60 25,000. Sorry, that's the WhatsApp and text number, or you can call at 074 91 25,000. Now, Mary Herlihy is manager of the Donegal Women's Centre. Hello, Mary. You are muted. If you could just unmute for me there. There we are. How are you keeping?
I'm good, Greg, and yourself?
I'm doing good. Now, the Donegal Women's Centre is launching the Haven Building for Healing, Support and Empowerment. Talk to us about this new special space.
Yeah. So, Greg, we've had the space, I suppose, for a number of years, and and from talking to the women, we didn't have a name on the building, and then we just sat around the table with some of our service users and got their feedback on what the building meant to them and what they have gotten from coming into the building, whether it is to come in for a programme, whether it's part of our counselling service, or just coming in for meetings. So it was the feedback from the women that led us to the name of the Haven, because they said they felt very safe coming in. For one woman, she said she wouldn't be here only for coming in to meet her counsellor on a weekly basis. So it was that whole concept of feeling safe, feeling empowered. There was a place of support. They could be who they wanted to be. And that was right across all the groups that we met with and that we worked with. And that's where the Haven came from. It is that sanctuary, that safe space for women to come in and just be. So that's how it all started.
Right, so in terms of what's new, is it the naming of this space and as I suppose reigniting the conversation that's new, or are the services, any services new as part of this, Mary?
Yeah, so it is a continuation of what we're doing, and the new piece would be, we have a domestic abuse therapy group, and they have met there over the last few months to create an exhibition that is actually across in the Regional Cultural Centre at the moment as part of our 16 days of action. So, so the women created the space, or sorry, created each of their pieces to reflect their journey with domestic abuse. So that's the latest program, and then obviously their pieces are on show over in the Regional Cultural Centre up until the 20th of December. So they were the latest to come in. We also have the IPAS group, and they were really influential because they were coming to us every week, and it was about what it meant to them, what they were getting out of it. So there's a little bit of new coming in, and there's a little bit of what has been there for a while. So it's a good combination.
In one form or other, the Donegal Women's Centre has been there for women for 40 odd years now. Well, not far off it. And I can only imagine, the amount of people that have been helped, whether, they've come through a traumatic experience, depression, dealing with domestic abuse. It must be very rewarding to see the journey of the person that works up the courage, if that's what's required to come through that door, but to see them rebuild themselves or even become a better version of themselves through the process.
Yeah, you're absolutely spot on. That's what we have witnessed, and we've been very privileged to witness it over 40 years, is that journey when a woman comes in first. And we are always very thankful, I suppose, when a woman does come in the door, because it takes a lot of courage, to call into the centre, to pick up the phone, to come in and put their trust in us for whatever reason that they're there with us. And then, when, especially with the programs, when you hear back what it means to them to be here on a weekly basis or here for an 8-week program, and you get those personal stories. And just recently we did a piece of work with some women, and one woman described it as coming into her mother's embrace. She was here from a different country, but that she felt it was coming in and getting that supportiveness on a weekly basis. For others coming in through our counselling and psychotherapy service, it is that empowerment and that coming in one place and finding the resources and the tools and being given that space to work with their counsellor on their journey of whatever life has thrown at them, and for them to leave in a very different space with a very different way of thinking and feeling heard. That's the biggest one.
I mean, because what you're trying to undo in some cases is potentially decades of a person being chipped down, broken down, to be left feeling like they are irrelevant, nothing. And then it's amazing that this space is there for them to be told, no, that's not the case. You are not that person. Do people? How do people come in contact with the services, Mary?
Yeah, so there's a number of different ways. They can obviously follow us on all of our social media platforms, and we'll be launching our new website early in January 2026. So there'll be a lot of information on that. It really is either calling in, coming in the front door and just finding out what we do. It could be giving us a call and say, look, I really don't know what the Women's Centre does. I'm not sure if it's the right place. What do you do? You can get a family member or a friend to ring if you're not quite able to make that call, or we take referrals from professional people as well. So you can ring with a curiosity, as if you're just not sure whether we're the place or not, or you're not sure if we're the right people to help.
And just on that, I want to reach everyone that potentially we could reach. The way I've asked questions, it could be, say, for instance, focusing on domestic violence for an example, and it's only one example, that you have just got out of an abusive relationship, right? I presume you can still attend if you feel you are in one, and does that make sense? And there are other examples, am I depressed? People cope with anxiety and depression, and they think that's normal, right? That's what happens. We all do it to some extent, and sometimes you need to go out and tease it out and say, well, is this normal?
Yeah. And that's what we're trying to do, really get those messages out through our social media and with our website. But absolutely, for right now, if something doesn't feel right, if they're and they're not sure, and they have gone maybe elsewhere, or they haven't even asked anybody else, we have a listening service here, and very often that can be the first port of call, where somebody will come in and they will make an appointment and they will be listened to and believed. So that can be very often the very first step. Or it could be that, and just taking the point there about the domestic abuse, we work with any woman wherever they are on their journey of domestic abuse, and that can go from right back to their childhood, where they may have been a witness to domestic abuse growing up. It could be they're in the middle of they are in a current relationship and they know it's not healthy, but they may not be quite sure about it. Or it could be that they have left, and they have done, and they're ready to look at it. They're ready to maybe go into a new relationship, but they're not sure what a healthy relationship looks. And it's all trauma informed. It's all looking at the impact of trauma has had on their lives, right back from their childhood to where they are right now.
Mm-hmm.
So it is really about asking the question. You don't have to divulge a lot of information when you ring. It's like, well, I'm not feeling okay. I'd like to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
That's very often the first
really
question.
think it's so important to clarify that, because sometimes we can set up our own hurdles and people say, well, I'll do that when such and such happens, or I need to do this first. No, the whole idea is you can get support along the way. Search out the Donegal Women's Centre on social media and on the internet. You'll get more information. I will point out, by the way, that everything we've been talking about is provided through community support, businesses donating, local fundraising events, which you will hear about. And that's what lets these services happen. So any contributions that any of you might have in this area, you can go on to the DonegalWomenCentre.ie. I'm thinking, if you're a business or a big company, what a fantastic organisation to be associated with, and what a message it would send, say, for instance, to your female employees. It's win-wins all around. DonegalWomenCentre.ie for more information. All right, Mary, thanks for your time. I appreciate it, and best of luck. I love the name, the Haven Building, because firstly, if we were doing word association and you said to me Haven, the next word back I would say to you safe.
That's it.
That's precisely that's how that would work. All right, listen, thanks for your time. Look after yourself. Keep up the great work, all of you, in what you're doing there, and never put yourself off seeking support because you don't think the time's right. There's never a right time, or there's always a right time. Check it out. Thanks, Mary. Appreciate that. Right, did you know that the Northwest Breast Cancer Ball Committee is delighted to announce that this year's event is officially sold out? They're incredibly grateful for the overwhelming support from the community, and they're looking forward to welcoming all of the guests to the Silver Tassie Hotel tomorrow night. And it promises to be a wonderful evening in support of an important cause. And the committee is thrilled to see such strong backing once again this year. It's just one of those events, and it's one of the very few events that I haven't managed to get along to, but I hear fantastic things about it. So have a great night, by the way. If you're going, you're all going to look fabulous, and you're going to have a great time. And, of course, there is a further announcement, and this is positive, right? Regardless of what your political allegiances may or may not be. The Minister for Health, Jennifer Karen McNeil, is attending the ball. And that minister is a minister that needs to be a really good friend to the county and to the hospital. And so far, so good in terms of the investment that looks like it's coming toward Letterkenny University Hospital in terms of the new hub, right? That work is ongoing. And it was delivered by this minister, Jennifer Karen McNeil. So as I say, the better relationship we have with her, the better. So it's going to make it an extra special occasion. And of course, Shay Given, who was on this show a week or two ago, he's had this on his radar for quite some time. And I know from speaking to him, he's very keen to get along. So it's going to be a great night. Two fantastic guests, but I presume the most important guests are all of you guys who are going. Have a great night. I'm Jelly.
Watch the show live now on YouTube, Facebook, and at highlandradio.com. The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union. Digital loans now available. Apply online or via our app today and get your loan transferred directly to your current account.
A public interest message from Donegal County Council. Family Fun starts here. Join us for family time at your local library this December and explore some of the many events taking place for families in all local libraries across Donegal. From stop-motion Lego challenges, painting and craft, sing-alongs, Christmas card making, comic workshops, reading corners and storytelling. Family time at your library is packed with free fun activities for all ages. Library membership is free and events are happening at each of the 13 branches throughout the county. To find out more, visit donegallibrary.ie or call into your local branch. Your library, your family time.
Tesco Club Card gives you the power to more this Christmas. Get RTE Late Late Toy Show ready with our can't miss offer on Terry's Chocolate Orange, Cadbury Small Selection Box and selected chocolate and sweet tubes like Randry's Jelly Tots, now 5 for €5. Get another can't miss offer on tubs of Quality Street Roses, Heroes and Celebrations, now 3 for €12. And selected Keeling's Berries, now 3 for €8. Helping feed your Christmas spirit. Shop in store or online. Tesco. Every little helps. Available in most stores. Prices vary and express quotas may apply.
This Christmas, make it magical with a top-name fragrance or gift set from McGee's Chemist Letterkenny. Choose from names like Giorgio Armani, Chloe and Paco Rabanne. Also Carolina Herrera, Marc Jacobs and many more, all at great prices. From timeless classics to the latest designer scents, you'll find the perfect gift for everyone on your list. Shop in store or online at mcgees.ie. McGee's, where the best costs less.
Introducing Flow for Men, my new fragrance collection of products created to keep you feeling fresh and looking sharp. The ideal gift for the man in your life. Find Flow in pharmacies nationwide or online at flowbybogue.com. Start every day with confidence.
See the Furies live on their last ever Northern Ireland concert at the Millennium Forum Derry on Thursday, May 21st. Tickets from the box office 04871 264455 and millenniumforum.co.uk. Enjoy Red Rose Cafe, Suite 16, the Green Fields of France and lots more. The Furies, the Millennium Forum Derry on Thursday, May 21st. An ideal Christmas gift.
Have you got your tickets yet for the Highland Radio Christmas concert? Tickets are selling fast. Join us on Tuesday the 9th of December in the Mount Errigal Hotel with Derek Ryan, Mike Denver, Jerry Guthrie, Keith and Ray McDonald, Des Willoughby and myself, David James. Tickets available now at highlandradio.com. Grab yours before they're gone.
Yeah, and get in on that as quickly as you can, by the way, because that's just around the corner. And a great way to spend next Tuesday night. It really is Christmas in full swing now, isn't it? Which is great. And it's a tough time. Christmas is a tough time. I know I find it myself. But the positives for me outweigh the missing of people and things like that. So I get it. It's not for everyone. It can be really difficult, especially if you lost someone this year, for an example. But thankfully, I'm in a space where I can really look forward to it, and I've lent into it, and I worked on that too, by the way. It didn't just happen. But anyway, what am I on about? The concert, it's on Tuesday night. Brilliant artists, as you just mentioned from David. Derek Ryan's going to be there. He's great. Mike Denver, Jerry Guthrie, Keith and Lorraine MacDonald, Des Willoughby, and David James himself. Tickets are €30 for all of those acts. They're available right now from our website, highlandradio.com. You can contact the hotel reception as well, by the way, the Mount Errigal Hotel, 9125. No, that's us. Contact the Mount Errigal Hotel reception or contact us on 9125 A lovely wee treat, by the way. If there's someone in your life that enjoys a bit of country music, what a great surprise it'd be for you to say, listen, I've got us 2 tickets for that concert Tuesday night. If they like country music or they like entertainment, I guarantee you're going to be quids in. The doors open at 7 and the show starts at 8 p.m. And you are invited not to miss the Highland Radio Christmas concert. And that's all in the beautiful surrounds of the Mount Errigal Hotel, which has, I have to say, I've no skin in the game. It's no benefit to me. It's lovely to see businesses invest, and they've done a brilliant job in reimagining the foyer and other elements of it. We were down there doing the photo shoot for the new schedule, which starts on January 5th. It's just really well done. So fair play to Terry and the crew down there. And I would say that of any business, by the way, I've nothing to gain from it, nor have I ever from there. Right, let's see. Connell Shovlin is member of the Nairn Portnew Rossbeg Community Co-op. He's with me now. Hi, Connell.
Hello, Greg.
Thanks for joining us. Right, now, housing is what we're going to talk about, and I'll just let you kick off the convo, especially as it relates to your local area, Connell.
Yeah, well, part of the reason for ringing you up is the Department of Rural and Community Affairs have opened for submissions now to put in submissions for the next 5 years. And what I think is that there should be more joined up thinking between community voluntary organisations and government statutory agencies, because voluntary community groups are finding it more difficult to recruit younger people into them, and I think they need to be nurtured a lot, and because of the capacity to do a lot of very good work at a localised and community and parish level. And I'll give an example. I mean, a case study of the point which I was very disappointed with myself was, I mean, there's a barracks here, a disused barracks at Clogher. It's the accommodation section. There's a large two-storey building and sitting on an acre, and an annex to the side is used for the barrack. But nobody has lived in it for the past 30 years in the accommodation section. It's a fine building. And I pursued it way back in 18 about with the OPW and to look and see could a leasing arrangement be given to our co-op, maybe to do something with it at that time.
Yeah.
It was a different time that we wanted to do maybe, a community hub or something like that. But however, we met them there, personnel from the Gardaí and the OPW, we met them there on the 12th of September 2018. And they were agreeable that, that the building has been unused and is falling into disrepair and is effectively closed for all practical purposes as a Garda station. But if they wanted to keep the small annex to the sides of Garda station, that's fine. But the accommodation section is what we were looking for. And I think... But after that, it just fell away. And
and Connell, I set this up as a conversation about housing, but of course it's not. It's really about this.
It can be about housing as well, yeah.
Of course, but it's really this. The thrust of it is this state resource that you've got. The likes of yourself and others are interested in bringing this into use for the community. We've got hubs all over the place. I presume that could be one idea for it, and lots of others as well to sort of reinvigorate. Is that the vision?
Yeah, well, even, for instance, I mean, that's 7 years ago, even if it wasn't a community hub. I mean, if the state agencies, I mean, there's huge talk about derelict buildings and everything, and that's understandable, but derelict buildings is in the possession of the state, I think they have to come first. And that's a big thing for a community like ours, where in 1993 there was 142 children at the national school, and now there's 62. And I mean, if say the OPW or whoever wants to put in 2-3 bed apartments into that building and fix it up and make it accommodation for 2 families, that's fine. No problem with it. But the problem I have is watching them sort of resources going to waste.
Yeah. Is the building being maintained, over the intervening 7 years, Connell? Are the OPW maintaining this building? I know it's at least partly used to some extent, but is it falling into disrepair? I just can't picture the building in my head.
It's in disrepair, and the accommodation section is in disrepair inside, but the external part of it is well maintained, and is a small annex that the Garda barrack was in as an independent door going into it. That's maintained. But it's a fine building sitting in an acre, and in our area it's difficult because it's a big holiday home area, and it's difficult for young families to get planning permission to build a home. And if we don't have more children coming to the school and that, I mean, we are looking at a project there now to build 12 houses beside the Dolman Centre there, beside the community centre there, and we're making good progress in that. But the point I want to make is that inviting submissions now for the next 5 years from the Department of Rural and Community Affairs. I mean, it's 7 years since we met the OPW on that site. And I mean, it's not that if the OPW feel or the state feel doing something with themselves, that's fine. But it's just a pity of seeing it going to waste,
Yeah, especially when there's a local will to do something with it, yeah.
Yeah, and it's there. I mean, it's vacant now. There's nobody lived in that building for way over 30 years, and there's really the OPW and the Gardaí said themselves there'll be nobody living in the future. That's because it's going to disappear. But my proposal to them was, look, if you can lease it to us maybe for 7 or 8 years to see how we get on, and we get some funding maybe to do it up from different programs. And then if we have failed in the objective of what maybe we all aspire to at that time, that's fine. It goes back to you, and that's fine. But it's just a pity of seeing it go to waste when there is such a shortage maybe of ideas in a community to try to have more young people living in the area and working in the area, or even if you're making two apartments out of it for young people as a temporary accommodation.
It's funny, the enrolment in the local
school and all these things are important.
Yeah, the enrolment in the local schools a real indicator of where things are going, isn't it? Because that's the next generation, or maybe even their parents. Where have they gone, and where are they having their children now? Or okay, Connell, listen, thanks for that. It'll be interesting. We might chase that up, Connell, see if anything comes from it. I appreciate it, Connell Shovelin there. If you're in that area, let me know what you think. On the issue of sterling, I used to shop in a large British store in Donegal, which always had its prices displayed in the shopping sterling. And every time you got to the till, the cost was nearly always €2 more. I think I might know the shop you're talking of. The last time I was in there, they do list the sterling price and the euro price, but the euro price is greater than the euro price is much greater often than the exchange rate. But at least they're being displayed. I think if we're on about the same shop, I know where you're talking from. Greg, you heard of the saying, live horse and you'll get grass? No, never heard of that at all. Live horse and you'll get grass. Well, that's what comes to mind when I heard the Strabane councillor, who's a Derry councillor, talking about the redevelopment plans for Strabane. The critical point he made was that there is no timeline for this work to begin, but we hope, etc. The same type of plan was rolled out for Lifford over 20 years ago. The usual crap about parks and street furniture and new street lighting, etc. It never happened, and is no nearer now than when it was first mooted. You should timestamp this news and see if it ever comes to fruition. Chances are you'll be long retired and catching mackerel in Donegal Bay. Sounds like a fantastic way to live your life out, by the way. I would love a bigger boat to do that. Not mackerel, obviously. Save them for the fishermen. Winky wink. I'll tell you one thing. I'm no threat to stocks. I can tell you that for a fact. Right, let me see. I live in Donegal town, and I needed a form signed by the Gardaí. I called in 3 times and even rang them, but they wouldn't open the Garda station. We were told all the time that the Gardaí are there when you need them, but this isn't the case. We had to go to Ballyshannon Garda station to get the form signed. My granddaughter was followed home one day and reported it to Gardaí. They didn't want to hear from her at all. They did nothing, which is really unfortunate. I would definitely chase that up. Sometimes we have to say, right, I'm going to follow up here and I'm going to scream. Well, not scream. I'm going to kick up a stink till something's done about it. I went into Donegal town and got a passport form signed, thinking it was, I don't know, I should know. I work in this area. I should know better. But it wasn't open then when the passport office closed, and they rang 3 or 4 times. I don't know what it is. And then that old process went by the wayside, and then I kind of not lost interest in it, but lost the will in it. And I thought, well, Donegal Town's a big station. Surely there'll be someone there to answer the phone, but no, that wasn't the case. Enoch Burke, a court order has to have a legal substance and standing behind it in order to jail someone for a long period of time or indefinitely, or else judges could run amok with their court orders while they're doing, in the case of Enoch Burke, and are now even threatening his family. Again, and it's worth digging into this, his family are facing potential issues in relation to their behaviour in the courts, which is connected, of course, but it's not really connected as such, because if he wasn't there, they wouldn't have been there. So that's where the connection is, but still they're responsible for their own actions, and it's a separate line of inquiry. Okay, thanks for that. What we really need is to bring back our own Doge, Department of Government Efficiency, like the system in the council and at government level OPW. The waste is disgraceful and costing all the local businesses. We had a lady in charge some years ago. She was very successful. Doge has been scrapped in America and has cost the states billions. And now they're also having to rehire the workers that Doge got rid of. I know you're not talking about the exact concept, but sometimes you go in there looking to make savings and it turns out things were running reasonably efficient to begin with. Coming up in 15 minutes, by the way, John Bresson is broadcasting live from Michael Murphy's Sports and Leisure in Letterkenny. This for the launch of the new design of the Donegal Senior Football and Hurling team's home jersey for the 2026 season. I imagine that jersey will be on a lot of lists this Christmas, so tune in to John and the team. David James is also out and about. I'll get some information on that for you down the line. Hi, Greg. Got a call from this number today. Potential fraud. You know yourself, it most likely is. I've been getting calls from these types of numbers for quite some time. Hi, Greg. Not sure if this has been raised before, but we've been informed by our pharmacy that from January 2026, there'll be a €20 charge per month for packs, as the government no longer will cover the cost. My mother is 91 and lives alone and cannot see well enough to fix out her many tablets or have the dexterity. €20 by 12, €240, almost 1 week's pension. It's ridiculous. Sorry. They're called blister packs. Okay. Right. So you'll have to pay for blister packs. This is something I'm not familiar with, and I'm not sure it's this one pharmacy or if it's across the board, but €240 for blister packs. If anyone can give me more information, or if that texter can just explain a little bit more of their use and benefit, and we can chase that up as well too. But we also have some great friends in the pharmacy sector who might be listening that might be able to give us a buzz, or we'll contact them and sort of find out what the situation is, because it's not insignificant.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, with monster loans available up to €60,000 for all occasions. Visit letterkennycu.ie.
How are things? How's the family? How are you? How can I help?
When it comes to supporting people living with dementia, it starts with asking how. Because how is a small word, but this social connection makes a big difference. So if you know someone affected by dementia, check in with them and learn more about how you can help build dementia-inclusive communities at understandtogether.ie from the HSC.
In this week's Irish Farmers Journal, we have the latest on blue tongue in Northern Ireland and what it could mean for live exports and marts here. We reveal the new nitrates derogation conditions. Outrage as Brazilian beef with banned hormones enters Europe. And suckler farm incomes to triple this year. Never miss a story by getting an Irish Farmers Journal home delivery subscription. Sign up today and get a free farm bucket full of Irish Farmers Journal merchandise. Visit ifj.ie/bucket.
Give the gift of comfort and hope to those who need it this Christmas with a Trócaire gift of change. Visit trócaire.org/gifts or call 1800 408 408 to buy a gift and change a life. Trócaire, together for a just world.
For the 12 days of Christmas, Eurospar had for me 12 Christmas puddings, 11 cakes of baking, 10 salmon smoking, 9 Christmas crackers,
8 lovely cheeses,
7 sheets of wrapping,
6 stocking fillers,
5 mince pies, 4 Christmas cakes, 3 Brussels sprouts, 2 turkey legs, and a Christmas made super easy.
Eurospar, your super easy supermarket.
If I was cyberbullied, you put your arm around me, right?
If the videos on my feed tried to push me to extremes, would you intervene?
What if I was pressured into a dangerous challenge?
Or became bombarded with videos of self-harm?
Disordered eating.
Suicide?
Children and young people can encounter violence, bullying, explicit content and many other dangers online. Harmful content is never acceptable. Report it to the platform where you see it. Visit Commission the Mound at www.cnam.ie for more on how to report.
Highland Radio weather updates with McElhenney's. Find Christmas inspiration for everyone, from top beauty gifts to perfect last-minute ideas. Visit us in Ballybuffet to explore the full range, or shop online anytime at mcelhenneys.com.
So, now the rain has cleared the region for now. It will become cloudier, though, through the evening, with scattered showers moving across our region, turning heavy at times. There's a chance of hail, temperatures 5 to 8 degrees. Right, Ryan Brolly from the newsroom joins us now. He is at the budget meeting, the County Council's budget meeting. Ryan, good morning to you.
Morning, Greg.
Right, okay, so what's happening at the moment? Are they in meeting? Is it adjourned? What's going on?
Yes, well, the reconvened budget meeting was set to begin at 10 o'clock this morning, but a proposal for an adjournment was called almost straight away until 12 midday. This is due to a number of items still needing clarity and discussion with council management from the previous meeting on November 21st, which failed to pass the budget, mainly over a proposal of a 5% increase to commercial rates in the county. After this proposal of an adjournment, there was some disagreement from councillors within the chamber saying these discussions should have been taking place since the last meeting, but Fianna Fáil councillors favoured the adjournment. Since then, meetings have been taking place with the county management as we await updates at this point, but some councillors are saying it could be a long wait today.
Is this going to eventually get over the line? Are you getting any sense as to whether or not the budget will be passed today, Ryan? Because there is a midnight deadline looming.
I think there is an idea that will be passed today, but the discussions over that 5% increase in commercial rates could be the sticking point that makes it last a long time.
Is there any indication that there's any movement from the executive on that 5%? I know a lot of these conversations are happening behind closed doors.
The sense is that the executive would like the budget to pass as is. However, with the councillors really sticking on the point, they may have to relent somewhat.
All right, we shall see. Ryan, thank you for that. Ryan Brawley there covering that for us from the newsroom. Tune in to our bulletins, the main lunchtime news at 1 and throughout the course of the day, because that meeting should resume at noon. It's going to be a tough one. Will we have the names of those that voted for and against that 5% increase if that ends up being, or could it be reduced to, say, 2.5% or 3%, or maybe factored in 2, 2 and 1 over 3 years, something along those lines. We shall see. There's a lot of them up there. I'm sure they can come up with some sort of an agreement. Right, our Thursday finalist for tomorrow's draw for the Cadbury Secret Santa €500 value 1 for all vouchers is Bridie. Bridie is from Carnagore in Carragart, and they're nominating Clodagh Doherty from Devon. I know this off the top of my head. Devlin Ria Carragart for your selection. She's waiting on an appointment for Crumlin Hospital for double surgery for scoliosis, which is deteriorating at a very fast pace. She's 13 years old and will be in theatre for 12 hours, and another very worthy potential recipient. So Bridie and Clodagh, they go into the hat, and what may well, they have a 1 in 5 chance of winning that prize tomorrow. So we'll have your final chance to enter tomorrow. Thank you for that, and keeping everyone in our thoughts. Hi Greg, it would fit our government better if they had sorted the people in Donegal with their homes falling down around them out 40, 50, 7,000 euro more of their own money to get the homes built again instead of sending millions to Ukraine again. Right? I went through this a little earlier on. Let me see if I can get the figures out here for you again. It's not about where the money's going, right? Last month in tax, mostly down, this is tax that wasn't accounted for, we took in 10 billion euro. That 10 billion euro in 1 month, 28 days, 31 days, whichever you call a month, right? That 10 billion would have fixed to the maximum budget 28,000 defective concrete block homes. 1 month's tax take, right? So people can say we're sending 150 million euro to Ukraine. And to be honest, I think really the debate is, as a neutral country, where's that money going, what it's being used for, it's being spent on behalf of the public. But I'll tell you, if you've got 10 billion euro taken in 1 month in tax, 150 million for the Ukrainian government is pittance. 28,000 defective block houses. It would build the 10T project in Donegal 10 times over, 10 bridges over the Swilly, 10 roads to the border, 10 bypasses of Ballybofey. 1 month's tax take. It would hire for a year 222,000 nurses. We talk about the shortage of clinical psychologists in CAMS. It would employ 100,000 clinical psychologists for a year. It would build 4 overrun. It would build 4 overrun children's hospitals, and it would give every child living in poverty in this country right now, and this is the tax take for a month. It would give every child in poverty in this country right now €44,500. And you know what? We can't afford the cost of living package. Well, 1 month's tax take would do 5 annual cost of living packages. So I get where you're coming from about the 150 million being sent to Ukraine, the 100 million, whatever it might be. But look what 1 month's tax would spend on. And it was a tiny little article, 2 inches long in the Sun. And no one seems to be bothered. But am I bothered by it? It just beggars belief, to be honest with you. I don't know what sources you're reading, but Putin doesn't have all the cards. 3-day operation is now 3 years. They've made less than 1% progress since the initial push. Several regions in Russia are collapsing. Over 1 million Russians dead, recruitment crisis, gold reserves getting sold off. What's wrong is Putin can't afford to end the war anymore. He's overinvested into a wartime economy, and the whole nation will collapse once the war ends. This is Afghanistan all over again. You may well be right. I just don't want to have I personally wouldn't want to have a staring competition with Putin. That's all I'm saying, because people think in different ways. Okie doke, listen, thank you very much for listening to today's show. I really, really appreciate it. It's great to have you on board, and it's very much appreciated. Thanks for watching.